right? In terms of
Yeah,
how
I
rents are
agree. And
going,
we're
instead
seeing
of
the
like,
negative impacts on economics in Europe that have
wait,
received
what are the
influx of
not
immigration.
due to immigration? What is the okay? Answer this question.
Sure.
What negative economic impact comes from immigration?
On a grand scheme, availability for housing, not being able to produce housing at a rate that provides for all of the natural born citizens because of incoming illegal immigrants or incoming immigrants that are living in those homes. You're nodding no.
Yeah, because immigrants, especially in the United States, are not causing that issue. That issue was existing independent of the fact that immigrants are trying to come to our country. So if you want to have a process of building up that housing, you can. Now, you could foresee a certain level of immigration at a high level in a short period of time that could put upward pressure on prices in the short run, but that same trend would not be true in the long run.
That same trend would not be true in the long run if there's a way to curb the income of immigrants who are coming in. And we saw the highest
No,
rate
no,
of
no, wrong.
incoming immigrants during the Biden administration than we'd seen in years.
Wrong. No, it would be if you have the ability to increase the set of housing, which we do. We also have plenty of infrastructure around the entire United States that's not currently being utilized because of the fact that people are moving out of the small areas, like where my dad grew up, for example, in like the middle of Iowa, right? There's literally,
Sure.
right, just like towns that where there's lots of infrastructure. Push the galaxy, thank you. But people are moving out of that. There's only a few hundred people that live there now
Sure.
because of the fact that everyone's moving to the big cities. So we could create incentives to move towards areas in which there is existing infrastructure.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be a great idea.
Okay. Well, you understand that these policies are things you can do that would also be compatible with the idea that we'd be able to allow for a greater level of immigration. And also,
Yes,
there's
but
still
is
no negative impact you'd be able to mention outside of that. You're not mentioning the GDP increases, the wage increases. You're not mentioning the employment increases for natural-born U.S. citizens that result from immigration that we've seen over the past 20 years.
there's been increases in employment for natural born citizen
Employment rate.
when the immigration rate goes up.
Yeah, when there has been immigration over the past 20 years, we've seen employment rate go up. We've seen this is due to immigration. We've seen GDP go up, and we've seen wages go up for natural-born U.S. citizens.
Can you explain in what robust way immigration affects that?
Yeah, so in terms of employment, GDP, or wages.
I specifically employment is what's ringing my bell, but I would say wages as well.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% positive on all the criteria for what would be the case. I can give
Sure,
you what my theory would be based upon, again, the empirical data that we have.
sure,
This I can send you the study from the National Bureau of Economic Research that reports on that. But the wage increases we could see are likely a result of the fact that there are consumers that come to our economy and increase the size of the GDP. And because of the increased size of the GDP and increase of the amount of transactions, market transactions, that increases the amount in which you can pay to your constituents or to the people in general, because it is the case that there's more money in the economy, right?
sure,
Transacting, right? And since whenever there's an exchange of goods, it's a voluntary mutual beneficial exchange, and each side has a subjective value increase. So every single time you see a trade, that's going to increase that. If there's more people within our economy, there's more trades that are undergoing, right? Because people are within closer proximity to
sure.
each other, that's going to cause a greater level of subjective value increase, which can then lead to wage increases in the long run. Now, that's my theory. I don't know if that's 100% factual across the board. There's all probably other reasons that apply to it, but that's my explanation for what we see in terms of the empirics.
Do you so in economies that have larger populations than us and don't experience that increase in GDP on population alone, what do you think is the difference between that and your theory of how that affected us?
They do see an increase in GDP. I'm just saying with the economy that we already have, adding more
Sure.
people on top of that, more transactions on top of that, allows for the rate of growth to increase. Not that it like completely revitalizes an economy
Sure.
or makes it so that um, people are immediately like millionaires or billionaires or something, but it
Right,
increases the
right.
rate in which people are better off, essentially.
Okay. I get that point. In terms of the employment rate, and again, I know you have people waiting. I don't mean to take up all your time making you explain your position on everything.
No,
But if
you
you
can
have
talk
the
to me.
time,
I don't have that many people waiting. It's okay. I can
okay.
talk to them after
Okay.
you. Just tell me why
Okay.
you support Trump.
In Okay, would you like to shift off of this to so we can get to something else that we can debate on instead of me just asking you to explain your views
Yeah,
on things?
essentially.
Okay, sure, I understand. Um, so I work in public safety. I'm a 911 operator,
Hmm.
and in my job, um, we've seen the difficulty in prosecuting long-term and short-term criminals when there's a democratic base in the judiciary system, a county attorney, or a mayor or a district attorney. I don't think that's always bad. I think there are times that positively affects some people. But the way that I see Donald Trump moving into supporting law enforcement in a way that they can go after criminals that have been difficult to find or difficult for local law enforcement to gather, who have warrants but they're difficult to be found. I see that as a benefit to the way Donald Trump is treating law enforcement.
So there's a few things. One, he pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers, and he called them patriots. Two,
I do disagree with that thing he did.
yeah. Two, I'd like to hear the specific policy that created a better condition to be able to find people, in terms of who have committed violent crimes and bad crimes from a police standpoint. And then thirdly, if you're referencing ICE, well, ICE is violating people's rights, due process
I'm
rights,
not
and not
referencing ICE.
utilizing warrants. But okay.
I'm not referencing ICE. Specifically, a specific example of that would be in DC when the National Guard came in and they found 45 violent criminals with warrants that had yet to be found. That they in like the first 2 days, I believe it was, they found 45 or so people with violent crime warrants that were on the street.
Mm. And do they have the ability to arrest them as National Guard members?
They have the ability to seek them out and to support the local law enforcement.
But they don't have the ability to arrest them, correct?
I don't know what the legality is for when the law enforcement is employed by is directed by the president on what their arresting rules are.
Okay. So then here would be my issue is that couldn't you just do the same thing with police?
I
But
don't
also
think you
like,
I don't think you can manufacture police force though.
hmm?
At the end of the national, or I don't know what, I guess I don't know exactly when it ended, but the DC mayor did end up saying, and the DC police did end up saying, this was a benefit having these extra hands in finding these people. I don't think you can manufacture numbers in a police department to like short circumvent the process and try to find those people faster, like what happened when the National Guard was deployed.
Okay, so would you argue for the National Guard to be deployed everywhere around the country?
I wouldn't say everywhere, and I don't know what the exact number would be, but in places where there are an exceeding amount of violent criminals out on warrants who have yet to be located, I would support that.
Okay.
A
Um,
short a short term involvement to help locate people out on violent warrants.
okay. Why don't you want it in the long run, under your view, if it's gonna in the long run reduce the amount of people, right, specifically who
I,
have violent crime warrants and that haven't specifically been arrested?
sure, I don't think it would be effective in a day-to-day policing. I think it is effective in a short term locating a surplus of people who are out on violent warrants and haven't been found. So long term, I don't see the National Guard acting as police as any sort of solution, but seeing them as a short term bolstering to a local law enforcement to be able to locate those people, I think is a benefit.
Sorry, I'm getting over a sickness still.
No, you're okay.
Yeah, so I mean, short-term involvement, I could see the point you're making there in terms of being able to find people who have violent crime warrants. Would you like to provide the source that specifically indicates that they are able to, at a greater rate, be able to see that? Look, any statistics that back up that?
That would back up that they're able to do what they did in DC.
That they found greater levels of people with those particular types of warrants, and then also that that same trend is seen in other areas in which the National Guard has been demonstrate that like there.
There's multiple factors that can affect it.
Yeah, but I'm saying like what is going to explain that level of change, right? You in order to be able to explain that level of change, it would have to be present in all these different scenarios. Otherwise, it might be hyper contextual to that specific area.
Do you think there is something specific to violent criminals in DC being unable to be located that would be different than other places?
Well, not off the top of my head, but if we see that in the
Sure.
data, that might indicate that. Does that make sense?
Sure, I don't think that data is available until there is more of that happening to see if it does become a pattern. I'm
But it has,
not
wait, the National Guard has been deployed in other areas. Like when the National Guard were sent to LA, did that happen?
I don't
I
my
would say that it
understanding is the
led to
national
greater levels of harm. It led to greater levels of violence.
I okay, I would say it led to greater levels of violence in the small amount of protests that did turn violent. I wouldn't say that that is solely due to the National Guard's involvement.
It is. It
I
was
think
determined by the courts.
what courts found that the National Guard being there created.
It was a district court within the area or circuit court, one or the other, and they determined that the reason why the National Guard shouldn't be there is because they are causing an increase in the level of violence and commotion, right, and things that are happening in that particular area rather than reducing it.
Do you
And
think?
also, I by the way, I live in
Sure,
LA, right? I
sure.
definitely think that's true as well, because of the fact that there were more people out there protesting and angry at the fact that they are coming out there rather than actually them helping out in the first place. And that's definitely the case I would see for people in at least in blue states, because again, the governor said that they don't want them to be there.
Right,
So there's a constitutional issue with sending them there in the first place. So if the whole point was to
right.
reduce the crime or be able to find people that are on these types of warrants, well, then it would be to send them to areas in which have Republican governors. Secondly, we can't make this claim while simultaneously acknowledging that Donald Trump's been pardoning violent rioters who beat police officers, right? Like we have to acknowledge that that's literally something that he's done that is antithetical, right, to like caring about reducing violent crime. Also, I mean, he's called for the execution of some Democrats because they said not to abide by unlawful orders.
Yeah, yeah. That's so. To try to touch on those couple points that were made, I acknowledge the difference in the legality of the president being able to deploy the National Guard to a place like DC, and then a state like California in a city like LA that has a governor and the different rules there. Um, I live in Minneapolis, and I was here in 2020, and we saw the National Guard be deployed here, and the National Guard was not seen as a perpetuator of any of the violence that occurred in any of the riots in 2020 in Minneapolis. Um, Additionally, in the other points you were making, I cannot defend and will not try to defend anyone in any way. People who get aggravated and assault law enforcement officers. I disagree with pardons that presidents have made for years. I can't take a disagreeing of a specific pardon as as an overall determining factor in whether or not I do support a specific president. Um,
I think it would have to
and
be in
then,
this circumstance because this is him intentionally pardoning a violent rioter who beat a police officer. I don't think you can give any circumstance of a Democrat advocating to literally pardon, like a person in a position of office in a Democratic position, to advocate to pardon a violent rioter or someone who engaged in violence in any of these circumstances. And if they
well,
did
sure,
do
but
that, that would be the talking point from the right continually over and over and over again.
yes, but there are Biden, President Biden pardoned his own son for any and all crimes he may have committed in a grand time span.
He wasn't
I don't
convicted of a
think
violent crime. But like, I mean, I
he was
understand your
convicted of
point, but go ahead.
unlawful possession of a firearm.
That's not a violent crime.
It's not an act of violence, but it's a felony possession of a violent weapon.
Okay, I mean, if you care about felonies, you wouldn't have voted for a felon yourself.
Again, uh, first of all, I didn't vote for Trump in 2020,
But you
the
would vote
most
for him
recent
right now if you could
2024.
go back in time.
If I could go back in time and the choice, and as you stated, the choice was between him and Kamala, I would vote for
And
Trump.
Kamala.
But I did not vote for Trump in 2024.
Yeah, but like you would, based upon the information right now, still go back and vote for him. So the point I'm making is still true, correct?
The the specific felonies that Donald Trump was found guilty of are not felonies that would prevent me from voting for him in a situation between just him and Kamala.
Kamala. Yeah, so then the point I'm
I
making is that
apologize.
you seemingly don't really care about the felonies with Donald Trump, but you do care about the felonies with Hunter Biden.
No, I wouldn't say I don't care, but there's a range of felonies, right?
Wait, which is worse? The felonies with Trump or the felonies with Hunter Biden being pardoned by Joe Biden?
I would say the felony of being in possession of an illegal firearm is worse to me than the felony of hush money payments
No,
that
no, no,
were
no. It's just illegally having a firearm.
Yeah, that's what is that not? I apologize.
I
Illegal
thought you were
possession of a
saying like
firearm.
yeah, I thought you meant like a specific type of gun that he's not supposed to have. I just wanted to clarify
No,
that.
no, illegal possession of a firearm. I would see that as worse as the incorrect management of funds at on a money level, incorrectly labeling funds in the way that
Incorrect.
he did.
Incorrectly. Wait, sorry. You say it one more time.
My understanding of the felonies that Trump was found guilty
So hold on. I
of.
just want to clarify. Lying on a application to get a gun is worse than falsifying business records to hide a hush money payment so that it doesn't affect your election results.
Hiding again, I would argue that yes, illegally possessing a firearm is worse than incorrectly labeling funds.
You're misunderstanding though, right? Like it was a lying on a gun application, right? So like they're both lies, right? They're both
Sure.
technically falsification of documents, right?
Sure. But one of them leads to the possession of a deadly weapon, and one of them leads to the incorrect code being used on a payment form.
No, one of them hides information so that it doesn't affect the election results. Because you understand he was hiding the money, or hiding the information that he paid hush money to Stormy Daniels by explicitly falsifying business records.
Yeah, I understand that. I do not personally see that as bad as someone illegally obtaining a firearm.
Okay, I don't see the difference under your view.
One
They're both
okay,
felonies.
one has
You brought up one being wrong because of a felony.
this all came by me saying specifically a felony would not deter me in that specific situation, but both I've seen presidents pardon people that I don't think was appropriate to pardon. That cannot be the only reason, that cannot be a forefront reason into why I do or don't support
It
them.
can be. It can be. Like if Donald Trump fucking pardoned Ghislaine Maxwell, would you still support him?
Okay, I don't want my pause to be interpreted as
That's fine.
you okay. I'm trying to decide if on a broad view, if someone pardoned someone specific, if that would be like the determining factor for me.
Yeah, if
With
Epstein
how-
were still alive and Trump pardoned Epstein, would you still support him?
Okay, Epstein, no. We could come up with
The
bad
same
and bad
thing
and
should
bad
be true with
people.
Ghislaine Maxwell, because Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted of the same shit.
Yes, she was. So yes, I agree.
Okay? So then, that would be a pardon that would get you to stop supporting him, right?
Yeah, I guess sure.
Okay. So then my point here is that there's a difference between the pardoning of Hunter Biden and the pardoning of the January 6th violent rioters who beat police officers because they committed a violent offense at the Capitol, right? And it was during an insurrection at the Capitol, okay? Why was that deemed a violent insurrection? One, because Donald Trump told them to take back the country from those that stole it from them, fight like hell, and then he pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers. I did think before he pardoned the violent rioters who beat police officers, I thought he had enough plausible deniability to say that he didn't incite that. But since
Sure.
he's pardoned the violent rioters, that tells me very clearly that he did, right, intentionally, right, get them to go to the Capitol so that they could do that. Otherwise, he wouldn't
I
have
think-
pardoned the violent rioters.
I don't necessarily believe that's true. I don't think
Then what would be the other explanation?
I think it's possible for him to not have incited, for him to not have incited, and for him to have pardoned someone who acted in that. I don't think the fact that those two together means he means it must be true that he incited.
No, it tells me that he incited it because he condoned the violence on that day. Does that make sense?
I get your position. I don't agree with it. I don't agree that that means he must have incited it. But I would agree
Then
that
what would
him
you take as
pardoning
the
the people
explanation?
who. Sorry.
What is the explanation for him pardoning the violent rioters then? Did he not condone the violence on that day?
I would say condoning and inciting are two different things.
Well, if he condones it, tells them to fight like hell and take back the country from those that stole it from you, I think that meets my criteria for incitement. Now, can you tell me what incitement is under your notion, under your definition?
I don't. Okay, but you must take in the other statements he made. He said to be peaceful.
Again,
I don't.
which would have made sense if he didn't pardon the violent rioters, which tells us that he condoned the violence on that day.
Okay, but again, condoning and inciting, I don't think are the same thing.
I do think that when you are condoning violence, that indicates that based upon the other actions he engaged in, he was inciting. Because he said fight like hell, take back the country from those that stole it from you, and he also condoned the violence. Regardless of whether whether or not he said peaceful there, that doesn't change the idea that he condoned the violence, he wanted it to happen, and he did things to incite it, such as say fight like hell and take back the country from those that stole it from you.
Okay, my point is saying fight like hell, saying take back the country from those who stole it from you, are two things that can be done without violence. And when you take those
Yeah,
two statements
and
and
that's
you
why
pair it
that's why
within,
I told you prior to him pardoning the violence, I didn't say that he was inciting a violent insurrection of the Capitol. But now I do because it tells us that he condoned it alongside doing those things.
I just disagree that the fact that he pardoned it means he incited it. I
Dude,
agree that he.
this is unbelievable. It's like you're not responding to my point right now, kind of purposefully, it seems.
I don't think it's. I don't think it's I don't think I'm purposefully not responding to your point. I think I disagree with your point, and we're just having a
Then tell
disagreement
me
on
what is
whether
incitement? What is incitement to you?
telling someone to go do something and them doing it. I don't
Just
think what he said was
so telling
telling
them to
them
go fight like hell and take back the country from those that stole it
no,
from you?
so here's the thing. Here, okay. Again, fight like hell could mean go vote. You said without him pardoning that those statements alone he could have plausible deniability. So
Hmm.
I don't think him saying those things is inciting, and I just don't agree that the fact that he pardoned the
The
people
one
after the.
thing that was needed was that he condoned the violence. That's it. That's the only extra thing that he needed for me to classify it as incitement. Okay?
I understand.
If he did not condone the violence on that day, I would not have considered it incitement. Okay?
Okay, and what
He
I'm
did.
saying is what's imperative here is you're correctly labeling all your statements as that's what you needed, that's what I needed, and all I'm saying is that doesn't meet it for me.
So again, I would like to hear your criteria in which it doesn't meet, because the criteria you seemingly mentioned did indicate that it meets that criteria. So I'd love to hear what criteria you're mentioning that is not the case in the
Okay,
scenario.
the criteria I said already still stands. For me, it's the difference between those statements can be taken multiple ways, which we've accepted by using those statements alone. And so because people took statements and acted in a violent way, I don't think means the person who said the statements incited violence. Just as anyone can be, I would argue anyone can be, what's the word I'm looking for? Any person can be empowered by a statement. It doesn't mean that the person who made the statement was
Okay. So
wanting
I
them
went
to
to
do
the
what they did.
Capitol on January 6, 2025, and I specifically got an entire crowd of people, and I told them to march to the Capitol, to fight like hell, take back the country from those that stole it from you, and then I got into the position of presidency, and I pardoned the violent rioters who beat police officers on the day. You would say I didn't incite any violence?
I would say you were wrong for doing what you did, but I would argue that you did not tell those people to go violently take the
Did
Capitol.
I incite violence, though, is the
No.
question. No?
No.
So if Democrats did the same thing, you would have been totally okay with it.
No, again, I'm not totally okay that Trump did it. I just don't agree that he incited the violence. I don't agree with the pardon, but the speech the speech, I don't think, is inciting violence. I think
Not just
Democrats
this.
tell
I
their
just told you it's not.
constituents,
It's not that alone. And by the way, if he didn't
but
incite the violence, if he didn't provoke the violence, then explain to me why he pardoned the violence.
a lot of presidents have pardoned people that they didn't incite
No,
to do the wrong thing they
no,
did.
no, no, no. Give me a single circumstance of a president pardoning someone who committed violence where you think that they did not incite the violence after claiming that they should go engage in behavior that was associated with that.
Okay, off the top of my head, I can't come up with one specifically.
Do you think pardoning violent rioters encourages people to behave in that particular way?
I don't know if encourages is the right term, but I would say pardoning the people who did that would make people who are willing to do something like that empowered.
Which it says that they're encouraged, right, to behave in that way. That to me meets that criteria of incitement.
But okay, but my point is there are people who will act negatively when empowered by something that the person who said that statement didn't intend. I don't think it is the
Which I think Trump
fault.
would have had enough plausible deniability if he didn't pardon the violent rioters. Okay, dude, if you condone the violence and then you do things that encourage people to do things associated with that, and then also pardon them, dude, that to me is very clear that he's inciting it. If you don't want to consider it incitement, whatever at this point. I'm not going to keep making this point over and over again. I think it's very clear, okay? I think this is you being ridiculous at this point, to be totally honest with you. I think any reasonable person would look at this set of facts and would say that Donald Trump is inciting it because he is totally okay with the violence that occurred on that day. If you don't want to acknowledge that, totally fine at this point. I don't care to keep arguing this. The point is clear. He pardoned violent criminals who beat police officers, and he encourages that by pardoning them, okay? That creates a culture within society in terms of politics that increases the likelihood of violence. Do you agree with me on that? And also calling them patriots too?
Okay, I agree with you on that point.
Okay, so then what's your response to it?
To be honest with you, I don't know what the original point was in bringing this up and how to tie that back into the original reason it came up. My response to that, I've stated my response to those statements over and over again, and like you said, you don't care to continue arguing the same points when we're not making headway.
I'll tie back in. So we were talking about National Guard being released, right, to reduce the level of crime because they would find people in which had
Sure.
warrants for these particular types of crime. And I'm saying if the goal was specifically to address the level of violent crime, especially in DC, how can that simultaneously be true after he just pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers? And then a lot of these people reoffended. I just want to clarify on that.
I did hear that some did. Um, I also, to be frank, I don't remember the total number. Was it near 2,000?
It was like 1,600 people that he pardoned.
Okay. I I can disagree with his actions and how he handled January 6th, and I can still see the benefit of the finding of the people on violent warrants in DC that was empowered by the deployment of the National Guard there.
Yeah, but you can't say the goal of the Trump administration is to address violent crime. Does that make sense? Like, you could acknowledge benefits from, right, the National Guard being sent there. You can acknowledge that. But the issue is you cannot say the goal of the Trump administration is that they want to address violent crime. Does that make sense? Especially in DC.
I get what you're saying. I would say especially in DC they've shown, well, okay, both those things have happened in DC. So
Yeah, that's kind of like my point was.
yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
I think any reasonable
Okay.
person would look at this information and would see that that's not Trump's goal when he does that, let alone the fact that he sent like the National Guard to areas in which there was a constitutional issue with sending them to. If your goal was addressing violent crime, you would then send them to areas where there was no constitutional issue so that you could show the benefits of it to then show other places around the United States that they should engage in that same behavior or they should allow for it.
Where if that was the goal, where would you recommend? Maybe I'm not framing that right because I don't know if you would recommend
Let,
doing that.
okay, I
But
don't. Well,
what?
I'm just saying I wouldn't necessarily recommend it myself, but like if I were
Sure,
his taking his position or something, where would
sure.
you send them first? You would send them to red states. You go to Tennessee, which what one by the way at this point, I'm pretty sure they already have gone to Tennessee at this point. I'm saying originally in the very first place. It's taken almost a year for them to do that.
Sure.
Missouri, right?
Right.
Texas, Louisiana, all have red governors, all have cities that you would say have enough violent crime to want to address.
Okay. Do you have a theory as to why he hasn't done that? Do you think he's just
Yes,
trying to be inflammatory?
I would say that's part of it. I think really he's trying to see the extent of how far he can push the Constitution and how much he can say no to the courts and how much he can not listen to the courts, right? I think that's what he's trying to see. Not necessarily saying that he's not listening to the courts in all of these circumstances, but to say that he's seeing how far he can go. He's seeing the bounds, the boundaries. Does that make
Sure.
sense?
I do. Do you? I know there's concerns. I'm curious to hear yours because I have not been. I've been watching some of your content for probably the last couple of months, but not for as long as I know you've been producing content.
Hmm.
What would be your concerns that as he's testing the Constitution, where do you see he could take that next? What would here? Maybe I should phrase it this way: to someone who wants to be cognizant of someone abusing the Constitution, what are red flags that I should look out for that you see could be his next steps in testing in abusing the Constitution?
I'm not sure to be honest. I don't
That's
know what his
fair.
next steps would be.
That's fair.
Um, like off the top of my head, I don't know.
Okay.
But like I
Well,
mean,
okay.
I can tell you things. Maybe I could say that there's a threat for. I don't know what he's next going to do next necessarily, but there's a threat with our elections. I think, especially going into 2028, especially since what he did in 2020, right? Or
The
technically 2021.
him denying it after the election,
Yeah,
or
and
do you
still
think?
to this day, he still denies the 2020
Yes.
election results to this
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Do you think? Okay. So, what do you think would
And can I
be?
tell you one more thing as well? JD Vance himself said that he wouldn't have certified the true electors, the ones that indicated that Biden won, and that he would have certified the quote unquote alternate slates of electors, which now we know to be the false slates of electors because they literally lost.
Sure.
And we know that. And I think you agree with me
Sure.
that they lost in 2020.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I will, and let me kind of make this grandstand here. I've hated. Now I'm young. I'm 23, so I haven't been around long enough to really have like a deep step in politics. I feel like I've done a decent job at exploring and trying to learn about things that happened before me. But I've hated to see how polarized our politics have become. Um, I wish there was a way for us to meet in the middle on some of these things. I acknowledge the benefits I see in a lot of democratic policies is caring for disenfranchised people. Um, I think caring for people is probably one of the ways I see the Democrats step up in a lot of ways that the Republicans fall. Um, but in terms of ways I see the Republicans the current Republican administration and movement standing up in ways that I see Democrats falter, um, is finding the prosecuting criminals on a wide basis, um, financial policies that I think have long-lasting benefits, um, like those kind of things. So I'm in this limbo between what I think are like the fiscal benefits of the Republican Party and what are the social benefits, probably would be the best way to put it, of the Democratic Party. Um,
Okay.
if I'm making sense. I don't mean to rant and take up all your time.
No,
I
no, no. You're
apologize. This
totally
isn't the
fine.
intent.
Don't worry. By the way, I talk to people sometimes for up to an hour and a half, so there's plenty of time that you have to talk to me on the live. Don't feel like you're taking up too much time.
Okay.
I'll let you know when I want to move on to the next person. I think that
Sure.
this conversation's productive, so I think that most people are thinking this is one of the best conversations I've had on the stream
Okay.
in like at least
I
probably
appreciate
the
that.
last few weeks, to be totally honest with you. So there's a few things I want to address here. I don't think that the financial policies or the economic policies, I push the galaxy, thank you so much, Jay, of the Trump administration are better than the Democrats, and we can go through that in a second. I'd love to talk to you about that. I have a degree in economics. I'd love to go further in that
Oh,
with you.
great,
But
great.
before we do, I do want to bring up the point on polarization. Do you think that Donald Trump, and maybe this is the part of the social policies that you said were better on behalf of the Democrats, but do you think that Trump is the cause of a huge portion of this polarization?
I don't know if I'd say a huge, because I think the trend of polarization started before him. I think he has definitely perpetuated, and I think he's benefit from it.
Okay. Well, when he called for the execution of some Democrats recently because they didn't
Yeah,
abide
no,
by and uphold unlawful orders, do you think that
absolutely.
creates a significant amount of polarization that did not exist prior?
I do.
Okay. So I guess like he is making it significantly worse. You might say there might have been a trend that would have slightly gone up, but I think that it didn't become worse until Trump really started running for president. Like, think about what politics was like prior to that point. I would say it was
Sure.
significantly less polarizing. Look at the debates between Romney and
Yes.
and Biden,
Yeah.
or not Romney and Biden, Romney and Obama, and Biden and Paul Ryan, right?
Sure.
Like, look at those debates and then compare them to what the debates look like since Trump has got into the debates into
Absolutely.
the political office. I think that they significantly are less polarizing. Okay, it's not even close
Sure.
under my
I
eyes.
completely agree with you. We used to see respect.
Yeah, so it's like if we want to get rid of that polarization from your side as well, and this also exists on our side, we've got to just put a foot down on polarization. So do you guys. And I think that the way that you start with doing that is by putting away MAGA and saying that you can be a Republican, you can be fiscally conservative without supporting Donald Trump.
Do you think there's any good foundation in people who aren't willing to abandon the fiscal stance of the greater Republican Party just because the leader at the time is Trump?
You no, you can hold your same economic position. I get you, right? Like we can have a conversation about your economic position. I don't think there's a big issue with, or having a conversation about your economic position. I just don't think that you can actively, truly advocate for your economic position while still supporting Donald Trump. I think it literally limits you from being able to have fiscal responsibility and like cutting taxes and regulations. I think he actually limits your ability to do that. I think you would have a significantly better argument if you guys put aside Trump and you continued to argue those things. Because then
I
what
would
would the conversation be about? The conversation wouldn't be about the fact that Donald Trump's been held civilly liable of sexual abuse, that he's bragged about walking in
right.
the changing rooms of naked women while they're changing without their consent, where an 18-year-old came out, so there were four girls as young as 15 years old in these changing rooms. The fact that he said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. The fact that he pardoned violent rioters on January 6th who beat police officers. The fact that he called for the execution of some Democrats. All of these
Sure.
things enough reason to not support him. The conversation wouldn't be about that. The conversation would be, oh, why do you support this particular fiscal responsibility or
Sure.
this particular
Yeah,
cut on
yeah, yeah.
taxes, or why do you support
Back to the
like
policies and not
yeah,
about
the
the person.
conversation will be radically different.
Yeah.
If you want
Yeah.
that type of conversation to come back, which I would love to, I would love for that conversation to come back. In order for us to be able to get there, we have to get past Trump. Because there is
Do you
real
think there's any
disagreement there.
Democratic?
There's real conversation there. I just don't think there's a reason for me to even be having that conversation as the sole
Sure.
only
While Trump
conversation,
is here,
mostly while Trump's here. Because he's
that
such
makes
a
sense.
threat to our rule of law, our constitution, our court system, right, our democracy. And I'm not just saying this because it's some liberal anti-Trump talking point. I'm saying this because I can give you reasons to indicate it's true within every single one of these respects. He's like actually indefensible, and I think the history books are going to define it that way.
Do you think there's any current big names in the Democratic Party that you think it would be a benefit for the Democratic Party as a whole to move past because of either their I don't like using the term radical because I think it's overused, but their maybe far left beliefs or personal actions?
I mean, there are some like far left positions, economically speaking, that I disagree with, and I can point to explicit examples. I just don't think that quote unquote extremism on the left is viewed anywhere near the same as extremism on the right. I don't think that it's prevalent at all within the Democratic Party, really within office, really the furthest left you can go within office is going to be people who will call themselves democratic socialists, which really they're just
Sure.
social democrats that are
Right.
advocating for a system like the Scandinavian system. So I don't think it's anywhere near comparable within that respect. But I'm pretty sure there's been like a Democrat recently that called for like the deaths of some Republicans. I heard about that,
Sure.
and I mean that would be an example of me disagreeing with that. Like I think that's a line where we shouldn't support them, right?
I want to say that was and if I'm thinking of the right person, I think that was the Democratic nominee. I think he won the election too for like district attorney in one of the
I don't think
Northeast
he's in
states.
office. I think his
No.
name's Jay Jones, and he's not in office currently.
Okay. There was one Democrat text came out that he had said something about if he was in a room with these three people, he would shoot the Republican in the room like twice. These texts from a couple years came
By the
out
way,
during
I don't
this
know if you can
campaign.
say that specifically on the live, so I just want you to
Oh, I apologize.
be
I don't
careful of
know.
that.
I don't
But
know all the.
it's okay. It's okay. But like I mean, the point that I would make is that like again, we don't want that in the Democratic Party either. That's extremism we don't want, and I will put my foot down in the circumstance as well.
Sure. Okay.
Are
Well,
they still in
Parker,
office, chat? Yeah, if they're in office, I obviously condemn that. But
Parker, I appreciate your time and your willingness to have these conversations with people who disagree with you and presenting facts. I do want I work night shifts and I'm supposed to be asleep right now. So I'm
okay,
going to
all
take
right,
off and get to bed. But again,
for
I
sure.
appreciate you and your willingness to talk.
All right, for sure. I appreciate you coming up.
Bye now.
Alrighty. I actually really appreciate that conversation starting out the day. Like that, conversations like that are what I want. I want that so badly, like genuinely. Like those are the types of conversations I'm looking for. So, hey, W for that. I appreciate that positive. I think it was a productive dialogue. I hope I can change his mind further in the future, of course. I do have a few people to thank real quick. I got to catch up everyone. Moa, thank you so much for the dollar. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Thank you very much. Lori, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Um, um, why don't he call the National Guard to stop when Congress has to? I don't know the second question, but the first one, I think it's kind of in conjunction with the other things he was advocating for. Really, we don't necessarily know what fight like hell means. It's kind of vague. It can mean like you just want people to push really hard for this certain thing, but I would say in context with the other things, it likely could lead to violence, especially because he condoned it on that day. That's what I would say at least. Felicia, thank you so much for the $9. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a good start actually from yesterday where there was a bunch of wild debates. Yeah. Ken, thank you for the $50 on Venmo. Can we get some W's for Ken in the comment section right now for the $50 on Venmo? Thank you so much, Ken. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. W's for Ken in the comment section right now. Thank you so much for yesterday was rough. Hope today is better. It seems like it is so far. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm still like getting over my sickness. Ducky, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Absolutely, I will. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Opal, thank you so much. I really appreciate the dollar. Thank you. Kathleen, thank you for the $10. Absolutely, as always. Thank you. And then Jesse, thank you for the $2. I'm sorry, everyone. My voice keeps doing this. It's like a smoothie. It's guava, banana, pineapple, and then blue spirulina. That's what it is. And then I do have another person. Sydney, thank you so much for the $50. Thank you so much. Can we get some W's for Sydney in the comment section right now? Thank you so much, Sydney. I really appreciate it. It's so kind of you. W's for Sydney in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Someone said slurp juice. Loki, it does look like slurp juice, doesn't it? It's a big pot, chat. It's a big pot. That's so funny, actually. I didn't even think about that until now. Now I will never not see that. Why isn't Parker live on TikTok? I am. Parker, get a real job on TikTok because I'm banned on my main account for a few days. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Again, everyone, we are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates.
You're my favorite gifter. Parker, you're my favorite gifter. You're my favorite.
Someone said in the comment section, Parker, you're shaking. Calm down. What? Okay. Okay. I'll make sure to calm down for you. Alrighty, let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria. Only do send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria. List in the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
42.
Do you support Trump?
I support one thing that he did.
Can I
How
clarify
do
real
you
quick?
feel about what's
If
that?
you
Oh,
could,
just the
if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
um probably Trump for this reason.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm misguided or not, but he made animal cruelty a felony.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that he did that. I just wanted to get your feedback on how you feel about that, and if I'm misled and shouldn't give him credit for that, or
Oh no, you can give him credit for that. I just think that that would have been done by Democrats as well. I don't think that's unique to Trump.
okay,
And some
that's
people
what I
say it was
thought too.
already a thing. I do know he passed a policy for this, but yeah. Also, like, I think definitely we should care about cruelty relating to humans. You
Yeah,
know, and I do think that
yeah,
Trump causes cruelty relating to humans to a significantly greater extent.
right, right.
So
Okay.
would you agree with that one or?
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to get your take on it. Because there's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of policies that he's proposed that I don't agree with, but that's one of the bigger ones. The reason why I do still kind of support him. Um,
But if it was something that would have been bipartisan and supported by both sides anyway, then why would you specifically say that's a reason to support Donald Trump over Democrats, given that they would have supported that as well?
I hadn't thought of that. Um, Mostly just because when I heard about it, it was relating to Trump, and nobody really ever brought up that it would be a bipartisan thing. Um, Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I've never been on a live before.
That's fine.
Um, yeah, so I just that and um, I guess that's about it for now.
All right.
Okay,
But like,
thanks.
would you still vote for him? Get with the
Now
information
that
you have
I
right now?
know it's now that I know it's it would have been a bipartisan thing, which I guess is pretty much common sense. I don't. Hmm, I would like to. It would depend on how vocal whichever Democratic candidate was um, running, like how vocal they were on the subject. I'm a huge animal lover, so that was a huge thing for me. And I guess I just haven't heard any Democrats really addressing that. Maybe because it's not a
I
huge
would say it's not
issue.
addressed by both sides. Like, to be totally honest with you, there's a lot of animal cruelty that exists in our society that's not addressed at all.
Yeah,
And I mean, that's definitely something to be true on both sides in the political spectrum. Push the galaxy, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, but like also
Okay.
like we should probably prioritize what's going to impact human beings to a greater extent though. And I do think that even though like obviously, animal lovers, we're animal lovers and whatnot, we do need to care about humans, especially
Yeah.
children that are losing access to
Right.
free school lunch and breakfast to the degree of 420,000 children on average every single month because of the big beautiful bill. 2.5 million people losing access to their food stamps on average every single month, and over 10 million people off their access to health insurance. So
Yeah.
when it comes to priorities,
Yeah.
I think that we obviously all of us are going to inevitably put priorities on human beings. Not to say that we don't care about other animals, of course, but like within the
Right.
context of politics, there's not really much we can do about that. I feel like that conversation is more like we have a conversation about ethics, or we have a conversation about like, oh, what technology could we produce to then like ensure that we aren't eating meat in the same way that we are right now, right? Like, I think that's a
Right.
conversation about animal cruelty that is inevitably happening, and especially in terms of technology changing over time, right? And inevitably, at some point, will overtake the current level of meat production, all right? In terms of other types of things that are like meat, right? Taste like meat, but aren't obviously created through the cruelty.
Sure, sure. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, I appreciate you coming up.
All right, thank you.
Alrighty, let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that sort of criteria. List in the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria. List in the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I am 34, my friend. How old are you?
23. Do you support Donald Trump?
Yes, I do.
And if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
I think Donald Trump.
Have you been on before?
With you, no. I was talking to Dean. Talked to him twice. You came in one time. I was the guy that you two made fun of Charlie Kirk to.
No, I didn't make fun of Charlie Kirk, but he sang the "We Are Charlie Kirk" song. That's making fun of people who are making their or idealizing, right, to a degree of saying we are this person. So I think that's a distinct thing.
I think you're thinking of a different time. No, like I said, I have it. It's recorded. Dean has it recorded too. No, you guys were blatantly making fun of him.
Like what? Like what did we say?
So, somebody donated money, and then goes, "Here's $5, Dean. Charlie who?" And then Dean goes, "Charlie who? I don't know." Which you're gonna try and act like isn't making fun of him, but actually it is.
There are other Charlies, right?
Well, hold on. There's more to it as well. But
like, did you know? For example, like there's a Charlie that dunked on Andrew Wilson recently.
Yeah, but
so I mean, he just didn't know who.
There's more to it. There's more to it. First off, but you know which Charlie we were talking about. He knows because.
No, it was actually a payment, so they don't know which Charlie it was. It could have been Charlie XCX as well.
Excuse me. I let you talk. Hold on. So in the clip, when me and
perfect rage bait, Jennifer, thank you for the $3. Thank you so much, and Lori, thank you for $10.
Buddy, hold on one second, Boba. Young man, in the video of me and Dean, and it's recorded, I mention it's Charlie Kirk multiple times, so he knows I'm talking about Charlie Kirk. You show up late. Are you listening, buddy?
You were, but the payment wasn't.
No, but listen, so he knew I was talking about Charlie. And then after he goes so far, and again, it's recorded, it's on my YouTube short, where he starts going, "Leave Charlie alone. Leave Charlie alone." Look, you're laughing right now about it. That man,
yeah, dude, that's
taken,
making
and he
fun
did not
of
need
you.
to be assassinated. I don't know why you support. Well, I know why you support violence, right? You voted for Kamala. You voted for Joe Biden.
Kamala.
You clearly like.
I don't support violence, but you support a guy that called for the execution of some Democrats because they said to not abide by unlawful orders. So, if you want to talk about supporting violence,
don't mute me, young man. Don't mute me. Be brave. I know you can do it.
I'll mute you if I want to. It's my life.
Yeah.
You can cry about it if you'd like.
You're scared. It just shows you're scared.
I'm not scared of anything. I just get to speak on my live stream.
Why would you mute me? Why are you afraid of the convo if you're not scared?
I'm not afraid of the convo. I just get to speak whenever I want.
Clearly, you are. You're muting me. I mean, hey, listen. I'll let you talk anytime you want. But you keep muting me.
I won't let you talk.
Trying to cut me off. I know you.
If I don't want you to talk, you won't talk. Hey, dude.
Well,
if you don't crash out on my stream, I'm not going to mute you over and over again. I'm muting you over and over again because you're crashing out on my live stream. Okay? If you stop crashing out, I won't mute you. Okay?
I'm not crashing out right now. I'm being very nice to you. You seem like you're crashing out.
You were just crashing out and you just changed the tone of your voice because you realized I was calling you out because you were crashing out.
No. Crashing out would be if I started calling you names like you and Dean do. If I started celebrating death like you and Dean do.
Well, I
started swearing. Excuse me, buddy. Excuse me.
Hey, you lied about me. You said that I celebrated death. I never did that.
Well, you lied about Charlie Kirk. You called him racist. Could you please back that up with one bullet point? Could you give me one bullet point to back that up, buddy?
Mm-hmm. He said that one, we should get rid of the Civil Rights Act. Secondly,
okay, so
he also. Can I please finish? Can I please finish? Can I please finish? You're cutting me off. I'm gonna keep going. You're cutting me off. You're scared. You're scared right now by not letting me speak. You're not letting me speak because you're scared. You're not letting me speak because you're scared. You're not letting me speak because you're scared. Stop unmuting yourself. Let me speak because you're scared. You're scared. You're not letting me speak. Okay. So I'm gonna stop cutting me off.
Buddy, hold on.
Hey, stop speaking. Stop speaking.
Let me respond.
No.
You respond.
I will keep muting you.
You're so
I will let you respond when I'm done speaking, okay?
coward. You just gave
You're the coward not letting me finish. Okay? He also said, okay, he's not going to stop. You're not going to stop, dude. You asked me a question. I'm now answering it. And then you literally won't let me answer it.
You brought up the civil rights. Let me respond to that. I said one, Parker. Be a human being.
I'm gonna finish, and you're gonna let me finish. Okay?
Brave.
I know you've never done that before for anyone in your life, but let me finish.
Be brave.
Please.
Be brave.
Let me finish, please. Okay?
Let me respond to the civil rights comment you made.
Okay, man. Go for it, because you're not gonna stop. Go for it, man.
Listen, now that you're letting me talk, listen, you're about to rattle off 4 things. Let me respond to the first thing you said. Go
I
one.
was gonna mention 2, by the way.
Okay, but nonetheless, you said something, so let me respond. You brought up the Civil Rights Act. You said, and you actually butchered it right there. You said that, what did your exact thing was, whatever you just said was completely wrong, because he had one problem with the Civil Rights Act. What was his problem with it? There was one portion of it. What part?
You tell me.
You're on here in front of 4,000 people talking about a man that's in heaven that you made fun of, and you're
I don't believe
back
heaven
up for
exists.
that. Yes, you did. I have the video of it.
And by the way, me calling him a racist, not making fun of him, it's acknowledging reality, the descriptive facts of reality. I mean, he said when going on a plane that if he sees a black pilot, that he's going to be concerned about whether or not they are qualified just because they're black. He's also referred to people who are black as quote unquote prowling black with an S on the end. Right, so you understand that, like, we can obviously point to plenty of the things that that Charlie Kirk has done that's racist, alongside supporting a racist over a non-racist. But go ahead.
Okay, so again, you guys are really funny because I said give 1, you gave 3, but sure, I'll rebuttal all 3. So first off, the Civil Rights Act, you can't even tell me, buddy, what his problem with the Civil Rights Act was. It was Title II. That's his only grievance with the Civil Rights Act. So please stop trying to make him racist because he didn't want businesses to have their personal rights as a business to be infringed upon. He felt like Title II was already addressed in the Constitution. That's all, Parker. You're over here. And by the way, when I said you made fun of him, I'm not referring to you right now calling him racist, which is even worse than what you and Dean did in front of 27,000 people making fun of him. Second thing, the pilot quote, you know this. You know what I'm about to say. He was referring to grievances with DEI, which there's no problem with having a problem with DEI programs, all right? Unlike you racists, me, him, and the vast majority of people believe you should hire somebody based on the content and the merit of their character and that they're the best person for the job. The third thing you said about the prowling blacks, he's referring to things like that poor innocent woman. Isn't that what you brought up? Isn't that what you said? Sweetheart, isn't that what you just said? Don't give me that face. Isn't that what you just said? Wasn't that your third point, or did you say a different thing?
I was saying that he's referring to black people as a whole, and he's making claims specifically about black people as a whole, which I think are obviously going to be bad. Now, let me address the rest of this. Can I please finish? Can I please finish?
Yeah, sure, because you asked nicely. Go ahead.
Okay. So, one, the claim of they didn't want their businesses' rights to be taken away from, that's literally the same argument that racists made after the fact that the Civil Rights Act was passed, claiming that it was a violation of people's rights. Because, again, the idea that people have to provide, right, for people based upon, right, without discriminating against the color of their skin is something I agree with. Because if that isn't the case, well, then there would be enough aspects of society, especially at that point in time, where they would be able to restrict people who are black from going into those positions without, which would limit black people from getting into many different positions of power, institutions that would be relevant towards them getting education. Like, for example, a university would be able to say, oh, we're only accepting white people to this university. That's something that they could do under this particular law if it is the case that you take over the Civil Rights Act, let alone plenty of other businesses would be able to do the exact same thing. Secondly, we can also point to the fact that, one, I didn't do worse than what you were referencing. You claim that I did worse because I said that Charlie Kirk was a racist, but then you just called me racist in my entire chat without giving an explanation as to how. Let me please keep finishing. And then also, the grievances with DEI are not reasons. I allowed you. The grievances with DEI are not reasons to say that if you see a black pilot, that you're going to think that they're not qualified. Okay? That is an atrocious statement to make, especially because many of the DEI programs are to extend interview processes, okay? To ensure that people who are qualified get into these particular positions. And in order to get into a position of a pilot, you have to go through a set of credentials in order to be able to fly a plane in the first place. So they had legitimate qualifications and credentials, yet Charlie Kirk is saying that they don't and that they're unqualified because they're black. That is not because of DEI. That's because he's a racist piece of shit.
No, that's not true. And first off, you know he's not racist based off your encounters. Like, you know he's not. But here's the rebuttal to what you just said about the DEI pilot thing. Listen, buddy. So first off, when United Airlines and Delta Airlines and Costco and Pepsi and Coke and Johnson & Johnson and 100 other companies come out and say, hey, including the exact airline you're talking about, say, hey, we're going to hire 50% of our hiring class is going to be women or people of color, and that is their aim to do that, they are now adding race as a factor in their hiring process. And what happens is, if you Google, does DEI lower standards for the hiring process, Google's going to tell you no. But what the problem for you and your side is there's hundreds of lawsuits that have come about from stuff like this, where the people ended up winning for reverse discrimination because of DEI. Duval versus Novant Health, Herrera versus New York City, Ames versus Ohio Department of Youth Services, Woodward versus...
Repeat them so I can write them down. You said
Duval versus Nuvant Health Inc. They awarded the plaintiff $10 million for reverse discrimination.
This isn't even in pilots or planes. So would you like to give us one reference to the planes?
I'm sure, absolutely. When I post this video, I will have the link of a one. No, listen.
No,
I
asked you, do you have any off the top of your head, right, specifically that relate to the pilots? Because we're talking about flying a plane. So again, I just want to clarify.
Well, one could fathom that if it's happening in every other area. Excuse me, I let you talk.
Okay,
calm down.
Go ahead.
It's okay. Listen, you made fun of a deceased man, so you should be more worried about trying to, clear that up with the internet
such a little snowflake
than this. Okay. Well, I disagree, and I think
because again, I called him a racist piece of shit. That's true. Okay,
but he's on video.
By the way, you called me a racist. Okay, so you did the very same thing. I'm not a racist.
But I have proof you're racist.
This is stupid. That's so stupid. Now I'm going to respond to your point because it was ridiculous.
You're such a coward, buddy.
No, I'm not. Let me respond.
No,
you're just going to make a million different. Okay, finish your claims and then let me respond, please. Jesus Christ.
Well, I want to, because when I came in here, I said, "Don't use the Lord's name in vain, young man." But first off,
Jesus fucking Christ, cry about it, you snowflake.
Well, good luck with that for eternity, buddy.
I will. Listen, I'll be fine. I'll be fine because Christianity's not real.
Okay, well, I think God's real, so.
Okay,
but just so you know,
think that, but you have no evidence.
Well, I'm sorry. I know God's real. I do have evidence.
You have no evidence. We can talk about that in a second.
I have evidence. But listen,
talk about that in a second.
Parker, calm down. I want this nation to come together.
Totally calm.
Like, listen, no, Dean Withers made fun of my brother in Christ, Charlie Kirk, right? He made fun of me, said so many mean things, right? And I see a video of Dean almost having like a heart attack on stream. You know what I did? Unlike you guys, I prayed for him. I really, truth from the bottom of my heart, was like, oh my God, I hope this kid's okay. Even though he clearly hates me, hates Charlie Kirk. But like, that's where we differ.
Can I go back to the rest of the points you were making?
No, so you brought up 3 points. I said bring up 1, you brought up 3, and now you're veering all over the place. So I want to go back to the
Wait, I've written down more than 3 points that you just made. I've written down more than 3 points that I've written down more than 3 points that you did. You made more than 3 points right there. Can I respond?
Listen, my friend, listen. Take a deep breath.
I've taken deep breaths. You're the one that's not letting me speak. No, I'll just mute you until you do it if you won't let me respond, okay? This is ridiculous, okay? Can I please? Oh my God, this guy's so annoying.
Parker, the best way to have a convo is like this. I say, hey, Parker, give me one example why he's racist. You say the pilot quote. Then let me respond to the pilot quote. But instead, you said 3 other things. So I feel like
I'm able to respond. You've done that. You just did that. You just said like 5 different things. I haven't had the ability to respond.
So all I want to say is back
dishonest. You're so dishonest.
Well, that's not true. It's recorded, my friend. I want to go back to you like
I'll see that you just said like 4 different things and you're not letting me respond.
Who would have thought that the people in your live and your...
Okay, I'm going to respond. Please stop talking. If you don't, I'll just kick you. This is ridiculous.
All right. Well,
I will literally disconnect you and you can hop back in the box and I'll add you back up once I am done speaking. So please stop talking. Okay?
I won then. Kick me.
No, you didn't. I just said that you can hop back in the box and I'll add you back up. Just let me finish speaking.
Well, okay, you go ahead, but don't be afraid to let me talk.
I will, but you're not letting me talk right now. Okay?
Go ahead.
So by the way, hiring people for being a pilot, right, does not mean that they aren't qualified, because you have to meet the qualifications to get a license to fly in the very first place. You have to go to school to specifically be able to get a license to fly. You have to meet a set of qualifications and criteria to be able to fly. So them being a woman or them being a person of color does not mean that they are not qualified, because they had to meet the necessary qualifications to be able to get in that position in the very first place. So it's dishonest for you to act like DEI, in the manner in which it was set up, and made it so that people were unqualified to fly planes when they were pilots, because you just do not understand the process of what it takes to be able to fly a plane in the first place.
Oh, you just wanted to say something you said already. Okay, I didn't realize you were just going to repeat yourself. Well, the response to that is, again, hundreds, if not thousands of court cases, whether it's with the pilot, I guarantee you can find one. I guarantee you can find one. Let me talk. I just let you talk. Excuse me, Piggy. Listen. So
that was embarrassing that you just said that.
If not thousands of...
You just said that you don't insult, but you just did that, by the way.
You just muted, and you just muted. But you said insults first, and I said one joke, so you can simmer down a little bit. And I'll tell you what,
I called you a snowflake because you're crying on my stream.
Stoop down to your level. I'll be like Charlie Kirk to you, like he was sweet with you and nice and treating you like...
He was not sweet with me. He called me deranged.
Well, you were free. You were a little...
I wasn't.
Now, this is not an insult. I'm just speaking the truth. You were a little... crazy when you talk.
You see what I mean? You see how you just you justify insulting me, but then you literally cry
That's not
about
an
it
insult.
whenever I insult you.
Facts,
Calling
brother.
me deranged is an insult.
Well, you were going crazy on him.
I wasn't going crazy. Calling me deranged is an insult.
I take it as a compliment. But listen, my rebuttal to your pilot thing is this. Two things. One, if we have hundreds, if not thousands, of court cases where the jury awarded people $26 million, $500,000, this and that, of a crazy amount of money where they voted in favor for them, okay, that a less qualified person was hired, then you could suffice that it could happen with the pilot, which I'm sure we'll find a pilot case. I'm definitely going to do that for you. But that's just the truth. And here's the other thing, and then you can respond, brother, is this. I, Charlie Kirk, and the majority of people agree that you shouldn't hire people based off the color of their skin. You do. That's it. It's nothing crazy. That's it.
Okay, so the issue here is that historically speaking, people have not been able to get in positions of power based upon the fact that they specifically have a particular race. They didn't get opportunities because of the fact that they have a particular race, because of systemic discrimination that exists. Now, if you want to talk about the hiring people based on skin color, you're not referencing the fact that this also referenced women. So it's not specifically just quote-unquote people of color, it's also literally women as well. So
I agree.
I'm confused. I'm confused why you're trying to bring this up. Did he say this every single time you saw a woman that was a pilot? Can you name one time he said this about a woman?
I agree with both things you just said. DEI is not just to people of color and whatever, right? But here's the thing. First off,
I asked you a question. Would you like to respond to it? Name me one time he said this
that
about a woman who was a pilot.
You said two, but that's not how combos work. You don't control what I say, right? I'm a human being. I'm allowed to do what I want.
I asked you a question. You don't want to respond. Are you a coward? Coward, you can't respond to my question.
I'm a lot of things. But listen.
Of course, like a coward.
One would fathom you're a coward because you keep muting.
You're the one that won't respond to my question. That's why I'm muting you.
But because you said two things that were essentially needed to be responded to prior to that question. And now when you do stuff like this, I lose my train of thought. I'm trying to have a convo.
What were the two
things? So
first
thing, and I agree with you. The first thing was you brought up, people of color couldn't get jobs because of racism and discrimination and imbalances of power and this and that. Well, guess what? Hear me out. Let's see where this goes, Parker, big guy. I agree with you, but my question to you is this, though. How long did DEI and affirmative action and other policies like that need to be in place before you felt like it was balanced out? We have other things to talk about, but that's my question to you now. How long? If I say I agree with you, right? Okay, after racism was ended by the Civil Rights Act, and then every 8 to 10 years they implemented another piece of legislation to help fight against it. My question to you is, how long? Because we had DEI and affirmative action for 20 plus years, probably closer to 30. So how long until it's not balanced out? Forever? Is that what you want?
So affirmative action was shot down by the Supreme Court. If we're talking about DEI, it depends on the type of industry that you're referencing or for the particular businesses. These are particular businesses that choose to engage in this. I don't think racism was ended. I think that it still affects people to this day. So obviously in positions of power such as the position... Can I please finish without you cutting me off, you coward?
Listen, I'm not trying to be rude. It's an honest question to you because you just said a point, though.
I couldn't hear you because you were cutting me off. An honest
so I
question shouldn't be.
apologize.
You can remember your honest question and then ask it when I'm done speaking.
No, I can't. I have a bad brain. I really do. Listen,
I'm sorry.
Listen.
Dude,
I'm not trying.
he's
If you
such
want
a
to keep
little
going, but
kid. He's such a child.
it's
It's
an
unbelievable.
Excuse me. It's an honest question.
An honest question should
You-
be able to be asked once I'm finished done speaking. You wouldn't let me ask
All right,
a
you
question.
go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you wouldn't let me ask a question in the middle of your statement.
go ahead.
You'd
Go
fucking
ahead.
cry and you'd complain
Go
like
ahead.
the little baby you are.
No, go ahead.
Okay? Jesus Christ, dude, I can't even get a damn fucking statement out before you cut me off.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, again, if you want to ensure that it's balanced out, how about you look at the past multiple hundreds of years of slavery and Jim Crow and segregation that existed, in which literally we'd have to balance it out in order to be able to meet that particular criteria. So if you want to talk about balancing it out, if you want to ensure that, well, then it could be hundreds of years and it would be justified under your worldview because of the level of systemic discrimination that's existed in the context of our country for that long. Secondly, I want to re-ask the question that you never answered. Name one time that Charlie Kirk said that a woman was unqualified, or if you saw a woman as the pilot, that he would assume that they're unqualified because they're a woman. Because again, the same hiring practice you brought up included women.
He did bring that up. He did actually. He was talking about, you know how you guys, just like I'm answering you. But first off, so you don't forget, my question to you is, when did they end affirmative action? Because it wasn't until 2023 for college admissions and this year for business. So, and your answer to my question was hundreds of years. Disagree. Couldn't have disagreed harder, Parker. Completely disagree. But to answer your question, Charlie Kirk brought up how there was 3 black women that were DEI hires, and then you guys tried to spin that, and everybody's trying to spin it as, oh, he said black women lack the brain capacity or whatever. That's literally, I'm answering your question right now. He did call out some women for being affirmative action hires, in which one of them completely agreed with him on camera and said she was only got her job because of affirmative action. Everything I say is linked. Public discourse, episode 40 on my YouTube. Every bullet point about Charlie that you guys try and spew with your sick lies about a great American hero. It's all right there for you. So did that answer your question? He did bring up women.
No, because he didn't go on a plane and say because he saw a woman in that position that he's going to assume that she's unqualified. Okay? One, that's not something that's justified based upon DEI because, again, it requires qualifications in order to become a pilot in the first place. Two, it was not the conditions in which I asked you for, right? You didn't actually provide that. If you'd like to respond to that, go for it.
Yeah, so I stand by what I just said, that they can hire, because there's all these court cases that, sure, man, I'll message you even. I'll give you all of them. It's not that hard to look up. Thousands of court cases where a less qualified person got the job over someone else.
That's not what I asked you for. I'm going to repeat my question one more time because apparently you have an issue with listening.
I'm telling you, it's plausible for the pilot.
You have an issue with listening. He has an issue with active listening.
Well,
okay?
I feel like
I
you
asked
have
you
a
a specific question, and you're
you have an
purposefully
issue
not
with
engaging with my question.
wishing death on those that you disagree with.
I didn't wish death. I never did.
You're right. You didn't wish death on.
That's dishonest. That is so dishonest for you to say that I wish death when I never did that. That's so dishonest. I'm sorry. That is so dishonest. Can you acknowledge that's dishonest, especially when your side called for the execution of some Democrats?
Well, on that point, first off, you didn't wish death on anybody. I take that back, but you made fun of a deceased man. It's almost just as bad.
Wait, when you say made fun, I called him a racist. You just called me a racist.
People, excuse me.
No, excuse me. Respond to my points. You never do.
I'm trying to right now, but you muted me. I want to respond. You said your side wished death on Democrats. What do you mean by that? Could you elaborate, please?
Yeah, Donald Trump himself reposted someone saying HANG them, George Washington would. He said that seditious behavior was punishable by death and said that they engaged in seditious behavior themselves for calling for people who are service members to not follow unlawful orders.
Yeah, so the response to that is the seditious behavior that they were doing with him saying, and you just said it correctly there, him saying it's punishable by death is true. That's a fact. It's punishable by death, the act of sedition. Him retweeting somebody that said George Washington would hang them. Let me ask you, do you think George Washington would hang somebody if they did a seditious act?
No. It wasn't just that George Washington would say that. It's that they said to do so. They said HANG them, George Washington would.
Sorry, I talked to Dean about this. He showed me the tweet.
Can I please finish speaking without you cutting me off?
Well,
I'm trying to speak.
Go ahead.
But
go ahead, buddy.
You cut me off like every single time I speak.
Fake news.
But then complain every single time. No, it's not fake news.
You
can watch the video that you're recording right now.
Stop talking about it and say your point. Go.
Because you're cutting me off.
Go ahead, buddy.
So they said HANG them, George Washington would. Did you just get a flag for her? Do you have a second account?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll see you another time. Honest man, honestly, good luck out there. I'll see you another time.
What's your second account? I'll talk to you right now. Let's finish the conversation. If you're scared, you'll run away.
Well, I want all my donations to come to this one, so I get my $5.
That's
I'm not scared of you.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Well, wait, can I just respond, or do you have to kick me?
Can I respond? It's a TikTok flag.
Can I come back up? Can I come back?
I just told you can come back up on another account, but you said you didn't want to do so because you wanted your $5 little. Jesus Christ, dude. So he said, the repost said, HANG them, George Washington would. So it's not just saying that George Washington would, it's also telling him to do that, and then Donald Trump reposted it. So he's sitting there being dishonest and disingenuous, saying that I was calling and wishing for the death of people, which I was not. That's a complete and utter fucking lie, right? While simultaneously supporting a person for president who literally did call for the execution of some Democrats who just said do not follow unlawful orders, which is what people should do based upon the Constitution. You should not follow unlawful orders based upon what the Constitution says. So it's embarrassing that he has to lie about me in order to try and take away from what I'm saying right now on the live stream instead of actually legitimately arguing against it. Plus, he never even responded to the point about what I said in terms of naming a particular woman that Charlie Kirk referred to as a quote-unquote bad pilot or not qualified just because they're a woman, or he's scared because they're a woman in that context, which is obviously a ridiculous statement. Even if he did, still would be ridiculous. Secondly, it doesn't make sense that he would be making that claim because, again, they had to have qualifications to get into that position in the first place. And then also, like, he said thousands of different court cases that have done this. He doesn't have a source for that at all, of thousands of different court cases. Also, I don't even know what this guy's name would be on his new account, so I'll look, though. I have a few people to thank. Brian, thank you so much for the $5. Charlie's a racist? Absolutely. He called me, by the way, the guest called me a racist, but had no fucking reason for that, and then said that was, like, some insult that was so terrible. Like, dude, Jesus Christ. That's so fucking embarrassing. Kiefer, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $100 on Venmo. Give me some W's for Kiefer in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. No, seriously, though. Thank you so much, Kiefer. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the $100 on Venmo. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. No, literally, though. Lena, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You have to have 4 different types of licenses. Exactly. 1,000 plus flying hours. I know, literally. Taylor, thank you so much for the $5. Really appreciate it. Jalen, thank you so much for the $3. Nicholas, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much. Feisty with the $50 on Venmo. Thank you so much, Feisty. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Morgan with the $2. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Emily, thank you so much for the $2. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I definitely think that's an absurd standpoint. To be totally honest with you, I don't think that's a good way of referencing it. I think it makes it very confusing when you use the term in that way. Emily. Lucian, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I don't have the ability to fully look through all my DMs right now. I do apologize. I can try to look at it later, though. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Get some W's for them in the comment section. I have some people to thank on YouTube. And then we're going to go on to the next person real quick because I don't know what person... I don't know what their name would be on their other account. Pamela, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $20 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much. Put some W's for Pamela in the comment section right now. Thank you so much, Pamela. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Angela Nader, thank you so much for the $5 for $5 to you and not the caller. Ash, thank you for the $20. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know, right? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Harriet, thank you for the $5. Brand, thank you so much for the $5. Rohit, thank you so much for the $8. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. No, it's crazy. Humper, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5 as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Feisty again with the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Roland, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. Timothy, thank you for the $5. Ruby with the $2. Tocito, thank you so much for the $2. Dermian, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. Master, thank you for the $2. Jake, thank you for the $2. Valerie, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Pamela, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Doug, thank you for the $5. Nestor, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Docito, thank you for the $5. Attack on Pony, thank you so much for the $10. Priscilla, thank you for the $2. Rachel, thank you for the $2. Hoppy, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. Christina, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, actually crazy. Fabio, thank you so much for the $5. Simon, thank you for the $2. Thank you. I think I'm fully caught up, everyone. Only do send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Alrighty, let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Slip, thank you so much for the $5 as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, he's very ridiculous. Very ridiculous. And he's not even joining the guest box back. Embarrassing. I tell you that. He's so scared. What a coward. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
Hello. 19.
Do you support Trump?
Yes.
And you said you're 19. What's your birth year?
2006.
In what month?
July.
If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
Because I've been up here before, just to I know it's on the rules, but
Okay, well, when was the last time you were up here?
like a month ago or more. I don't know.
Okay, you can hop back in the guest box. If I can't find anyone else, I'll keep you up, but otherwise I'm going to look for someone else right now. But just hop back in the guest box.
Alright.
I don't have that many guest requests. I have like 12 guest requests right now. If I can't find someone, I'll talk to you.
All right.
For sure. Alrighty. Let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed in the TikTok screen. Alrighty. Do give it a second, everyone. Yeah, what's up? How old are you? I like how that guy literally didn't come back on his second account. That's so embarrassing. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria. List on the TikTok screen.
Hello?
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 18, bro.
Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
And what's your birth year?
2007, July 15th.
And you said you're 19?
18th, 18th.
Okay. And do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay. Why do you support Donald Trump?
Because I agree with his immigration. I agree with ICE. I agree with there's one big thing I didn't like about Biden and how he was handling let's say his Russia.
I can barely hear you. Can you fix your microphone?
Is this good? Is good?
Yeah.
So I didn't like how Joe Biden handled the Russia-Ukraine war. I think we should have talked to Russia and been more open with Russia and communicate with them easier. I think that would have helped end the war than just fund Ukraine a lot instead. And I think Trump understands that. I like how we're negotiating with Russia now. I think that's gonna help end the war. I also agree with his policies with ICE. And yeah, I could explain more, but I want to let you talk as well.
So I don't think the negotiating with Russia has actually led to better circumstances. I think the negotiations with Russia actually create better conditions for Russia themselves and not for us fighting against Russia, because Russia, historically speaking, has not even engaged with these particular agreements in a positive manner. Right? I do think that they've actually agreed to things and then not upheld those agreements. For example, there was an exchange of prisoners that Zelensky is referred to that they did sign on both sides, and they didn't uphold that. There's the Budapest Memorandum, which Russia signed and they didn't uphold. So historically, they have plenty of different agreements that they have signed that they did not uphold. And the agreements that are being established, that are being talked about by people specifically that are foreign policy advisors to Trump, that are going to people in the Kremlin that are telling them what to say, inevitably speaking, will lead to no ability for Ukraine to join NATO, which ensures that they don't have sovereignty, because Russia will just be able to invade in the future after they get all their resources back together.
Well, I don't think Ukraine has to join NATO, and I support Ukraine. I'm not pro-Russian. I'm pro-Ukraine. I don't think it's a need for Ukraine to join. I don't think if the only way they'll be safe is if they join NATO. Also, I don't hear you.
Yeah, I muted myself because I was gonna blow my nose. But so I do think it's the only way they have sovereignty. Can you explain to me how they would have sovereignty without joining NATO?
We could give them a security guarantee, as United States giving them a security guarantee. But other than that, I don't.
That's literally the Budapest Memorandum. Okay.
Yeah, but the war is still going on, though. I think if the war ended, and we have United States security guarantee, I think Joe Biden. I don't think Russia would have invaded Ukraine if Trump was in office. Do you agree with that? Because I know he says that a lot, but I think I actually agree with him on that.
You have no evidence of that. And also, again, my point is
No,
clear:
I
is
know.
that if you just
You're
say
saying.
that a United States a security thing, specifically with a security agreement, saying that they would defend Ukraine if Russia invading, is exactly what we've already had, which led to
But
the invasion of Ukraine. Okay, so this
Parker,
argument you're providing right here is atrocious. It does not create the
it's
sovereignty
not.
for Ukraine that you think it does.
What you're saying isn't even realistic, though. Do you think it's realistic for Ukraine to join NATO?
I think that's the only way to ensure sovereignty. So the only way they should accept an agreement is if they join NATO in terms of the rest of Ukraine that they would have access to. Otherwise, we should defend Ukraine so that they can't, so that they can essentially stop Russia from invading continually. Because that's the only way to do so.
I mean, I disagree. I think it's better to look for like a realistic solution instead of just, I mean, I think Russia put out a
Those
deal
two are the
earlier.
realistic solutions. You didn't actually give me any realistic solution.
How is Ukraine joining NATO? Like, Russia's never going to accept that, and just like a never-ending war at that point.
Yeah, they're never going to accept it, so you have to force them into that by literally making it so that they cannot go any further. It could be because economically speaking, they can't. You have to force Putin into submission. He's not going to do so otherwise. Okay, that's just the reality. I'm sorry that you don't want to hear that. That's the reality. That's the only mechanism you have for ensuring Ukraine's sovereignty. Is
No, dude.
literally forcing Putin into submission.
I mean, I kind of see what you're saying, but honestly, I think it's like I think you're kind of like over exaggerating how like strong Ukraine is. I don't think like at how it is now. I don't even think we could do that with Ukraine, with how Ukraine is right now.
We had the ability to do that. We were on trend to do that until Trump got in office and then literally got rid of the funding and then brought it back and then said that he's on Russia's side and then he said I was on Ukraine's side and then he just keeps going back and forth. Yeah, he just wants to be told that his penis isn't small. He doesn't actually want to protect Ukraine. He doesn't actually want to
Well,
ensure that Russia doesn't have the ability to invade the rest of Ukraine. He wants people to tell him his penis isn't small.
I mean, I don't think he like. I think he cares more about ending the war than picking a side. And you should like really.
Yeah, he just keeps going back and forth because he's trying to get this quote-unquote peace agreement that's not going to actually be a peace agreement. It's just going to ensure that the next set of circumstances would be that whenever they build up their resources again, they're just going to invade Ukraine again. And then what are they going to do? They're going to blame the Democrats again. Venom,
Okay,
thank you for
I
the
kind of see
corgi.
what you're saying on that. I understand what you're saying on that actually. So, you want to talk? Can we talk about ICE now? Like, I understand what you're saying about the Trump Ukraine thing.
Okay. What about ICE?
Do you support ICE?
So I support border enforcement existing, but I don't support how ICE is currently operating. I think that ICE currently is operating without the use of protecting constitutionally protected rights. I think they're doing so violently, and I think that they're not upholding what we should be. I think they're going after those over 70% of people detained by ICE have no prior criminal record, are not a threat to the safety and security of our community, yet that's who ICE is focusing on. So I would like to have border enforcement that focuses on people who have committed violent crimes and bad crimes, and not people who have no prior criminal record. So I think that every undocumented immigrant in the country who hasn't committed a violent crime or bad crime should be given a pathway to citizenship where they don't have to leave the country. And then I think that we should make the legal immigration process go significantly quicker, which would actually provide a legitimate incentive for people to go through said legal immigration process. And if they aren't, it's likely that they don't meet that set of criteria that we're mentioning, meaning that it would be good for border enforcement to go after them, because that would be protecting the safety and security of our communities. Right now, they are actively a threat to the safety and security of our communities.
Well, I don't agree with that because I think if someone comes in the country illegally, I don't think you should give them like a pathway to citizenship, even if they're not a criminal. I think they should just be kicked out and then come back like legally.
Yeah, but the reality is that particular process that you're mentioning creates an incentive for them to not vet themselves or identify themselves to authorities and stay in the country undocumented, right? Secondly, it also creates conditions where, again, right, over 70% of people who are detained by ICE have no prior criminal record, so they're focusing most of their time on people who are not a threat to the safety and security of our community. I actually care about the safety and security of our community, rather than just violating the law. Because again, if you did care about just violating the law, then you would have an issue with Donald Trump violating constitutionally protected rights and ICE doing that as well.
I
Like in
think you're like
deporting
switching
people.
the subject a little.
What's
I
that?
think I think you switched the subject a little bit. I'm just saying that
That's
I
not
don't like.
we're
I
still
feel like-
talking about ICE. How is that switching the subject, saying that they're violating constitutionally protected rights?
No, because you brought like Trump into it. I'm not really talking about Trump in this aspect. I'm talking about
We're
like
talking about Trump's policy on ICE comparative to the Democratic policy, or what my policy would be.
I think if someone comes into the country illegally, even if they're not like a threat or anything, I still think they should be like deported and then they could come back again legally. I think that's a better option than giving them
How
a
so?
pathway to citizenship. Because it
How is that a
shows
better option?
how because it shows that you're a sovereign nation. Like, you know, I think if you let people come into your country illegally and then you just get a pathway to citizenship, I don't think that shows that, you know, you're like a sovereign country with like that actually enforces their laws.
Okay, so I do think it's a sovereign nation. We are enforcing laws. We're just enforcing the laws that keep us safe rather than enforcing unnecessary laws. And if you want to talk about enforcing laws, then how can you say we're enforcing laws while simultaneously violating people's due process rights?
What? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
How are we upholding laws while violating people's due process rights and deporting them?
How is it violating rights to deport an illegal person or undocumented?
Yeah, because the Constitution indicates everyone within the jurisdiction of the country gets due process, and him expanding expedited removal reduces access or increases the amount of reduces access to due process by specifically ensuring that instead of it being applicable to people who are within 100 miles of the border and within the country for less than 2 weeks, it's now applicable to those that have been within the country for less than 2 years and to anywhere within the jurisdiction of the country. So that heavily expands expedited removal, which violates due process rights.
I mean, how long would that even take to give due process to every single?
It's really hard to hear you right now, man.
How long would that even take to give due process to every single? Like, how many illegal people do we even have in our country right now? I think like 50. Like, how much? I think about 40 million. That was
40 million? No, we have nowhere near 40 million. It's around 11 to 14 million. Now, if you want to reference how long would that take, well, couldn't you say the same thing as an immigrant coming to our country? An undocumented immigrant would say it takes too long to go through the legal process. It costs too much to go through the legal process. So why would I do that? So the same reason you just said it was justified for Donald Trump and his administration to violate the law is the exact reason you would say it's then justified for undocumented immigrants to do the very same thing.
Yeah, but I don't think that one is justified because, like, you know, I think because if you allow that, then that just gives a sign for everyone to come in, that whoever wants to, you know.
It's not a sign for everyone to come in if you've committed a violent crime or bad crime. Again, in that context, you are not allowed to come into our country. If someone's been held civilly liable of sexual abuse, they should not be allowed to come into our country. But apparently you believe that they should be allowed to be president.
I mean, I think it's very hard to. The thing is, Trump is such a big profile person. Like, so many people want to ruin his name. So I think it's very hard to build like a very good case against him. I think by the way, I think people who grape should get the death penalty. By the way. But,
okay, so then you think that Donald Trump shouldn't be alive?
If it's true.
It is true. He was held
yeah.
civilly liable unanimously amongst a jury of 9 people for forcibly penetrating E. Jean Carroll's vagina against her will. There's 26 different people that have accused him of sexual misconduct. Do you think every single one of them are lying?
I mean, I'm not saying every single one is lying. I'm saying that the grape part might not be true because, again, as I was saying before, it's very hard to prove someone for grape if they're such a high-profile person. You know, basically half of America hates Trump, basically, pretty much. And a lot of those people would do anything to ruin his name, like literally anything.
By the way, some of these happened prior to the point in which he ran. Secondly, you said every single one of them are lying?
No, I'm not saying every single... Wait, you're saying there's 13 people who think...
There's over 26 people that have accused him of sexual misconduct, okay? Do you think every single one of them are lying?
No, but that's not the same as grape, though.
Wait, I'm sorry. Do you know what sexual misconduct is in reference to?
To grape?
It's unconsensually engaging in sexual action towards them.
So, yeah, but like, does that all mean the same thing? Like grape there's no other way it can mean?
There's different mechanisms of sexual misconduct, but that doesn't mean that this isn't true. And by the way, many of them did specifically say grape, right? Now, if you want to address the conditions for that, well, then why don't you acknowledge all of the different people that have said that themselves and have specifically said that it was grape? including
is there,
Katie
like-
Johnson, who said that she was assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump?
Well, Epstein is, basically a criminal, because that was like, I guess was proved, like, but
Say that again.
Trump
You're
is,
so far from your mic. It's like mumbly, dude. Your mic it's really
I'm
hard
sorry,
to tell what you're
bro.
saying.
I'm sorry, I'm like cooking food right now, so I'm like going away from my phone a little bit.
It's okay. It's easier to hear you when you get closer.
But like as I said before, like do you not agree with me that Donald Trump is such a high-profile person that people would want to ruin his name? Because basically he's hated by like, let's say 40-50% of Americans.
So again, if you want to reference this, that doesn't mean that people just make up false accusations of rape towards you just because they don't like you. Because otherwise you would say the same thing about every other presidential candidate that's ever run. Couldn't the same thing be said about Kamala Harris? There's a huge portion of the population that doesn't like Kamala Harris. Would they try to create something like that?
I mean, I think...
And also 26 different people?
I mean, first of all, I don't know if I don't think all 26 people are accusing him of rape, like specifically.
Does that matter to you? It is sexual misconduct. Is that not enough for you to say, like, oh, I don't support this guy?
Well,
Like, do you believe that?
Here's the thing. I could say, yeah, I disagree with him for doing that, obviously, but like in context of like being a president of him versus Kamala Harris, I would rather what he's doing now. It's not. Sorry, what? Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
So, like, if you could give me someone that's not Trump that would do similar things than what Trump's doing, who doesn't have a bad background or anything, I would vote for him instead. But we don't have that option. We only have Kamala Harris and Trump.
Yeah, so again, what's so bad about Kamala Harris that means that you're willing to vote for a guy that literally not only has he had 26 different people that have accused him of sexual misconduct, not only has he been held civilly liable of sexual abuse amongst an entire unanimous decision of 9 people in a jury, again, sexual abuse being forceful penetration of a woman's vagina against her will, E. Jean Carroll explicitly, and then alongside the fact that he said he would date a 10-year-old girl, he bragged about engaging in sexual exploitation by saying that he would walk into the changing rooms of naked women while they're changing without their consent when they're naked, right? And an 18-year-old came out and said there were 4 girls as young as 15 years old in these changing rooms and Donald Trump would barge in. Not only all of that, but we can also point to his destructive economic policy. We could point to the fact that he destroys the democracy of this nation, the rule of law, the court system, right? By literally undermining it, by saying that he doesn't believe the court system, determining that he lost the 2020 election, by denying the courts indicating his guilt, specifically in the criminal case and the civil case, by denying also denying the result of the election is also undermining our democracy, undermining our Constitution by calling for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, while also violating multiple constitutionally protected rights, like we've already mentioned. He's violating practically everything you see to be an American value.
Well, again, I said this before, I'll say it again. He could do like horrible shit like that, but at the end of the day, I support him in being as a context of political, in his like political ideas and him being a president specifically. I think he would do a better job than Kamala
on what?
Besides his
just say Harris at this point, and on what?
ICE.
In what way?
Again, I said this before, you disagreed with me. I said anyone who comes in illegally should be deported.
Everyone who comes into the country undocumented should be deported. You understand that Democrats also deport those that have not committed violent crimes and bad crimes. They just do so at a lesser priority comparative to Trump. And then also they're not violating constitutionally protected rights like due process to the same extent. So if you care about upholding the law, then you'd actually agree with the Democratic position, not the Republican position.
I mean, you said before, like, in some cases you can't do everything 100% by the law, which is basically what you said with the illegal migrants. Oh, it's too hard to
wait
to get us.
You just said you can't do everything by the law, so then why don't you say that about undocumented immigrants? Like, I think that's incredibly disingenuous for you to say that they need to follow the law, but then Trump does not need to follow the law.
It's not disingenuous, because I think there's some stuff that have higher priority than other stuff.
Yeah, I think that if anything, we're going to say how his higher priority is the president upholding the law comparative to an undocumented immigrant coming to our country. I think the president upholding constitutionally protected rights is actually at a greater priority than an undocumented immigrant coming to the country unlawfully.
No, but here's the thing. I think people coming into the country illegally is more serious than deporting them the perfect legal way.
You mean without due process and violating the law? But why? Because I think it's important that the president follows the law to a greater extent than like some random undocumented immigrant.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, well then you just conceded to my point.
Well, no, not really, because the thing is with Trump is, yeah, he has a really weird, questionable past. Like, I agree with that, but I still think, like, him as a president is better than, Vice President Harris. Because honestly, dude, I'm not even like, I'm just saying, I don't really know how to pronounce her first name. I'm not doing it on purpose. Like,
Just say Harris. It's okay. It's just say Harris.
Okay.
So then here's my point. Is there anything Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him over Kamala Harris?
Let me think. Well, yeah, obviously, but I'm thinking for like a realistic thing that would actually happen. I'm not just going to say like something stupid. Like, I wouldn't support Trump if he dropped support, like all support for Ukraine. I wouldn't like. I think that would be pretty bad. I think if he leaves NATO, I would lose all support for him. I don't know. There's many
So
things.
leave NATO, drop support for Ukraine.
There's
What
many
if he
more
called for
things.
the execution? What if he called for
No,
the
no,
execution?
I know. I saw that. I got mad about that. I swear. I disagree with him on that. I think he was like kind of crazy, like when he said that.
Isn't that a reason to like not support him though?
I think it's a reason to like be upset at him. I don't think it's a reason to just not support anything he does.
Wait, I'm sorry. So you would say that it would be reasonable for a Democrat to still support the Democratic nominee, even if they called for the execution of some Republicans?
No, I'm saying, like, no, with the Democrat, like, let's say a Democrat did that, I wouldn't support the Democrat in that specific sense, but I can still support, like, other shit the Democrat does,
No, you're misunderstanding me. Would it be reasonable for a Democrat to support a Democratic candidate that called for the execution of some Republicans?
In that specific way, no.
Okay.
But in other specific ways, yeah.
That's dishonest for you then. Because if it's unreasonable for a Democrat to do that, well then why is it reasonable for you to still support Donald Trump even though he called for the execution of some Republican or some Democrats?
I don't think you understood what I said. I said in that specific way, no, but in other specific ways, you can.
Wait, that's the exact context that Trump did so. If a Democratic candidate, right, for president, like say Kamala Harris, reposted a person saying HANG them, George Washington would have, in reference to some Republicans who just told service members to not uphold unlawful orders, would you say that it'd be reasonable for Democrats to continue supporting her?
In other ways, I think it would be reasonable for Democrats to say, hey, whatever she said was messed up, and then start supporting her in other specific ways that they agree with. I don't think it's like a one thing cancels out all. Like,
I do think that what you just said, that with pulling out of Ukraine or pulling out of defense of Ukraine at all would be enough reason. That's one thing. Pulling out of NATO is enough for you to say that. But calling for the execution of your political opponents is not?
Well, I thought you think you were talking about lose all support, and if Trump pulled out of NATO, I don't think I would lose. I think I would lose a lot. I would lose a lot of his support. I don't think I would lose every single piece of support.
Okay, so then I'll repeat the question.
There's always some stuff I agree with.
Is there any one specific thing Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him?
Like fully, entirely, 100%? I mean, I feel like I'm always going to agree with some stuff he does.
No, but you wouldn't overall support him. You wouldn't vote for him.
Oh, I wouldn't vote for him at all. Yeah, if he was going to pull out of NATO. I mean, the thing is, with this Democrat thing, he didn't do it before he was running. But if he was campaigning on pulling out of NATO, I wouldn't vote for him.
Repeat what you just said. Sorry, you said if he was what?
If he was campaigning on pulling out of NATO, I wouldn't vote for him. But I know Trump does have like some beef with NATO, though. So not beef, but I know he has said some bad things about NATO, which I don't agree with that much.
Okay, so if he could, so then you're saying if he did one thing, such as calling for pulling out of NATO, you wouldn't vote for him anymore. But if he
I
calls for the
wouldn't.
execution of some Democrats, you would still vote for him.
I would just condemn that part, and I would say like he's like crazy about that, but I would still vote for him. But can I ask you something though? Like
So
kind
then
of
would you say it would
different.
be reasonable for the Democrats to do the same thing with their candidates?
I think but here's the thing. I think the Democrats really have to condemn the part which they said though, and then say, okay, other stuff you do, I still agree with, but that one specific thing was messed up. I think that's a better reason. Also, can I ask you something?
Before you do, I just think that that's not true. I think that if this happened on the Democratic side, we would be held to an infinitely higher standard than you guys are. Go ahead.
Well, maybe that's not right though. I would agree with you on that, but what do you think about the boat strikes that Trump ordered with the drug boats? I just wanted to
One,
hear
there was
your
no
opinion.
evidence that they had DRUGS in the first place, right? None given to Congress. Two, there were actively circumstances we could point to where it would qualify as a war crime based upon the orders that they gave, which were unlawful orders, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not pivoting. I'm not gonna I don't want to debate you on that. I was just asking you what you thought about it. Like I don't.
I
But
mean,
do like let's
that in of itself should be enough for you to not want to support him as well.
well, let's say there was evidence that there was drugs on it, and all of that. Like, would you then support it?
No,
Like,
because I would say that
what
they
would
should
make you
detain.
support
Let me
it?
let me explain all the conditions for this. One, that would mean that you should detain them once they get to U.S. waters. Two, what are most of the DRUGS that are coming from Venezuela? Well, it's M drug, the elevation one that's legal in plenty of bunch of states, and then the other one is the C drug, which, by the way, this is mostly if it's from Venezuela, it's going to Africa and Europe, not to the United States. But say it was, why would Donald Trump pardon a C drug trafficker if it is the case that he wants to murder people who are C drug traffickers?
Wait, he pardoned a sea drug trafficker.
Yes.
Why? Is there like a reason for that?
Well, he claims he doesn't think that there was sufficient reason to believe so, which there was, by the way. But he just claims that. And he says that you shouldn't just based upon an accusation make a determination like that with a president, which, by the way, is exactly the thing that he's doing in terms of murdering people off the coast of Venezuela. It's just the Trump administration accusing them, not even specific people's names, not even specific people, nothing about the conditions.
Could you give me that guy's name? I just want to like look at it once I get off. Like whoever he.
Yeah, it was the ex-Honduran president. Let me pull up their name.
Okay.
I can send you a title right now. It's from NPR. Trump pardons Honduran ex-president who was convicted of drug crimes.
I really just wrote it down on my computer. I'm actually gonna look at that. I never really heard of that though. But like, what do you? Well, let me ask you something. What do you think we should do to stop like the flow of illegal drugs then? Because like, I know it's a big problem here.
Again, dude, it's so hard to hear you. It's like very muffled. So what should we do to limit DRUGS from coming to our country? Well, the
Limit like
inevitable,
illegal drugs, like as a whole, really.
well, the ones that are specifically we're referencing, C drug and M drug, I don't even think that those should be illegal. Right?
Really? Do you
Like
think?
I'm actually serious. I don't even think that those particular ones that we're referencing should be illegal. Okay? You know how many times I've heard of college students fucking doing that? And like no one gives a fuck. Okay? No one gives a shit. Why should it be illegal within that respect in terms of criminalizing it? Now, could you say producers that are trying to distribute it to harm people are cutting stuff in it? Absolutely. Like I want to ensure that that doesn't happen. But C drug, yeah, I don't think it should be illegal across the board. I don't think it should be criminalized across the board, especially people who are having just possession of it and not selling it. Does that make sense? Like, I don't
Yeah,
think
but
that college students who are doing it should be fucking put in prison.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, well, I know Trump designated the cartels as a terrorist group because of that. Like, do you think that was the right thing to do with him? for them smuggling drugs.
Wait, 1 second, real quick. Let me clarify. Chat, I don't think people who are using it should be criminalized. Okay? No person using it, in possession of it, should be criminalized for it. That's absurd. Okay? Yes, C drug. Yes. There's no reason at all to criminalize someone just who has possession of it, who is using it themselves. Right? Could you say producers, people who are cutting it? Sure. But people who are using it? Absolutely not. Go ahead. Continue.
So Trump designated the cartels as a terrorist group because they were bringing in illegal drugs to the country. Do you agree with that?
Sorry, repeat that one time.
Do you think it was right for Trump to designate the cartels as like a terrorist group because they were smuggling drugs?
Well, the issue is not just like one cartel. Like, there's many cartels. So, could you consider cartels as a T group? Sure. But I definitely think that like there's an issue with classifying different ones in different ways, and I also think that, I mean, I don't think that the Trump administration, I don't trust the Trump administration to deal with the cartels. I really don't. I don't think that they're doing so. If they wanted to address DRUGS that are brought to our country, why aren't they doing that with people who are bringing DRUGS from Mexico, for example? Why is it just Venezuela?
I get it. Well, we are still pretty like heavy on the border with Mexico now. Like, with
Wait, repeat what you just said?
we are still like pressuring Mexico and all of that to get rid of the cartels.
Hey, dude, it's impossible to hear what you're saying right now and to actually make it out. Like, is there another mic you have?
No, dude, I'm using my phone mic. I'm gonna put my phone like right next to my mouth because I put it like on my lap before and you said it wasn't good.
In
So
chat, yeah, there should not be punishment for people who just have possession who are using it themselves. I don't think we should be arresting college students that have C drug. I think that's an insane take.
Well, I think you should get them help. I don't know if it's like arrest.
I totally agree with people who are addicted. Yeah, but
yeah, I agree with that.
Saying that we should criminalize people is ridiculous, especially addicts. People, you do not want to criminalize that. It does not create better conditions for them.
If they're like selling it, then you should criminalize it.
I already said that people who are selling, you have an argument for that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, bro. You know. Also, the same thing with like smoking and all that. It's just, you know.
I don't think that should be criminalized.
No, I meant if you're like selling like smoking to people who aren't old enough, like stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm about to like go on to the next person. I literally can't tell what you're saying.
Dude, okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna drop, but I'm gonna look into the dude you said the drug trafficker who Trump pardoned. I'm gonna look into it, bro. Bro, I appreciate you letting me up, man.
All right. Appreciate you coming up. Sorry, it was just really, really hard to hear what he's saying. Like, I genuinely was having such a hard time. Isn't C drug dangerous? Yes, it is. But the issue is that people, again, who are in possession of it, who, again, are using it themselves, I don't think should be criminalized. I think that's absurd. And I don't think it's led to better conditions for people who are in those circumstances, historically speaking. And I especially don't think that people should be given the death penalty for dealing it. Like, I think that's crazy. I do not believe in the death penalty. Alrighty, let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria. List in the TikTok screen. We don't have many guest requests at all, everyone. Like, literally, like, we have practically, like, none right now. It's, like, the same trolls. Pedro, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much, Pedro. I really appreciate it. Denise, thank you so much for the $17. I really appreciate Denise. Calavera, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. And Margaret, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $50 on Venmo. Can we get some W's from Margaret in the comment section right now? Thank you so much, Margaret. I really appreciate W's from Margaret in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. W's for them in the comment section. Thank you so much, Margaret. Yo, what's up, Halloween?
I love you so much, Parker. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Appreciate you. Jacob, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you. Important to clarify, you are anti-criminalization and not pro-legalization of it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm talking about not criminalizing, not legalizing it, and saying that you should just be able to go recreationally buy it on just like a drug at a drugstore. I'm not claiming that. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Or I think you need to.
Oh, you're good. Don't worry. Don't worry. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
18.
Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Okay. And what's your birth year?
2007.
And what month?
January.
Okay. And if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay. Why do you support Trump?
Bruh, why do you think I'm a child? I'm literally born.
I'm sorry. They sound young. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request. If you do meet that set of criteria, list in the TikTok screen. Again, everyone, we are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hello?
Yeah, how old are you?
Yeah, gays support Parker and Trump bottom.
I didn't hear half of that, but I appreciate you. I heard support Parker. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 32.
Do you support Trump?
Of course I do.
And what's your birth year?
1993.
And what month?
March.
When did you graduate high school?
Early 2000s, late. Late 2000s.
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 24.
Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do.
If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay. And so why do you support Trump?
I want to be honest, it's because I want those big, juicy Parker cheeks. So you can...
Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request. If you do meet that set of criteria, list on the TikTok screen. Again, everyone, we are just looking for some debates. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, PayPal, Linktree in the bio, as well as the description of YouTube. As well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. Just letting everyone know my Cash App is still down. I might have a response in the next few days about it, but currently, as of right now, it's still down. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
25.
Do you support Trump?
Absolutely.
Okay. And what's your birth year?
2000.
And if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris.
Shut the fuck up and give me some Kirk, white boy.
Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request. If you do meet that set of criteria, list on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Jacob, thank you so much again. I really appreciate the $5.
Yo.
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Yo, can you hear me?
How old are you?
I'm 21.
Do you support Trump?
Yo, okay. I just want to say this real quick. I have nothing against you. I was a Trump supporter, stuff like that. I just want to say this real quick. Here we go.
Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request. If you do meet that set of criteria, list on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? You're so disgusting. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request. If you do meet that set of criteria, list on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
23.
And do you support Trump?
Yeah.
And if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
Just for that stamp check, to be honest.
For the stimulus check?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the COVID one, or are you referencing like one that you
The
think you're gonna
COVID
get
one
from...
or the one that's coming out soon for the tariffs?
Yeah, you're not going to get that.
Why you say that?
Because they can't afford that. How are they going to reduce the debt, pay farmers, and then also give you a $2,000 stimulus check on frozen funds?
They gonna go in debt. They gonna go in debt. They couldn't produce the last ones.
What happened to the
But they
Doge
still
check?
did it.
What happened to the $7,000 Doge check that you were going to get? Did you believe that one too?
I mean, 7,000 is crazy. I mean, whoever believes 7,000 is crazy.
Okay, well, I could say the same thing about you.
I mean, 2,000 is believable, but 7,000 is like, you know.
It's not, and even so, like the $2,000 you're going to get, I mean, that's definitely less than what you probably would get under the or under the Biden-Harris administration. You understand that the Trump administration imposing tariffs will cause an increase in $2,000 on the prices that you'll pay to a greater extent than $2,000.
I mean, everything's gonna increase anyways.
No, Trump's causing it to increase at a higher rate.
Yeah, he's trying to make us a more richer country, but also broke at the same time. Our Americans are going to be
That's
richer.
literally
Our
contradictory.
economy is going to be broker. If you really think about it, though,
That's
Americans are
literally
going to be
incoherent.
richer, and the government's going to be broker. Like, you're going to have actually have money.
I have to
to
hit a quick
live.
I have to get a quick reset on my life. If you want to come back and be the first guest, you can do that real quick. I just have to get a quick restart because I have got 2 flags already, and I don't want to lose this account.
You're good.
All right, for sure. Everyone here on TikTok, we have to get a quick restart because we've already got 2 flags already.
I mean, there's plenty of people that's had allegations on them.
No, he was held civilly liable. If he was held civilly liable unanimously amongst a jury of 9 people for forcefully penetrating a woman's vagina against her will, would you still support him for president?
I wasn't there in that room. Physically, I can't just sit here and it's just like God can't punish a man unless he's seen it himself. You know, God's not going to punish you for something, and I'm not God to be able to see
So you would
that.
still vote for him even then?
See, you trying to put me in a weird position. You already know what you're doing. You're trying to put me in a weird position. But at the same time, like, I'm just be honest. I wasn't there. I physically don't know. A lot of us don't even know Trump for real. We just know Trump off article or, you know, certain things said or television. So
you would still vote. You would still vote for him if you were held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman.
Me or him?
Yeah. I'm asking you, would you still vote for him?
If he was convicted of that, yeah, I wouldn't vote for him.
Well, he was held civilly liable of forcefully penetrating E. Jean Carroll's vagina against her will. Look up Trump liable essay.
For him for that, but
you cut out. What'd you say?
President. I said I still don't see him being convicted as that because he's still our president. I don't think they would allow that to happen.
He was held civilly liable, unanimously amongst a jury of 9 people, and the reason why he was able to get in this position is because you voted for him.
Yeah, but at the same time, if he was convicted, even if you voted for him, he would be sitting in prison.
No, the reason why he didn't go to prison is because of statute of limitations, which means it's been too many years since the event occurred where they can't try them in a criminal court regardless of the amount of years. But that does not mean that he didn't do this.
How many years was it?
How many years was what?
When this first occurred.
The statute of limitations? Or when it happened?
Not when it happened.
When it happened, it was 1995, 1996.
Exactly.
What do you mean exactly?
That happened so many years ago. You're looking at a man that's worth billions of dollars.
So you're saying if he raped someone 30 years ago?
It's not even a man. You're looking at a human being that's worth millions of dollars. It could be a man or a woman. It could be a man or a woman.
If Donald Trump raped someone 30 years ago, you'd still support him? You wouldn't care?
Let's just say this. If somebody told me, without even the word of Donald Trump in it, if somebody told me somebody that's worth billions of dollars touched somebody in 1999 something,
yeah,
1995,
if they raped someone in 1995, 1996, would you be
and
okay
it
with
took
that?
until 2025,
2019 for them to come out. And by the way, it takes decades many times for victims to come out because of people like you who deny them, who don't believe them.
And he ain't been convicted. It don't seem true to me. Because last time I checked, when people do things like that or situations occurred, they get penalized quick. And they don't see a day of life until they do their time.
They don't see what?
A day of light.
So
until they
again,
do their time.
Okay, Donald Trump, one, has not done his time. Two, I think that people who do this should be in prison for the rest of their life. Three, Donald Trump doing this
You're
30
right.
years
If
ago does
anybody
not
ain't done
mean,
that.
listen, Donald Trump doing this 30 years ago does not mean that it's not bad that he did this. And it's a reason why you shouldn't support him.
Yeah, I could understand that. I mean, somebody said that they only go to jail for a few months. Somebody as Donald Trump with the IQ and the present he makes on Americans, he would be.
IQ? Wait, do you think Donald
No, I'm
Trump is
just saying
smart?
IQ and the presence that he has on Americans, he would definitely be prosecuted a lot more.
Stop.
Like, harsh.
What do you mean his IQ?
Let's
You think he's
just be
smart?
honest.
You think Donald Trump is smart?
I mean, he definitely makes. I mean, at the end of the day, like, he has to be smart to be in the position he's at. I mean, we all
No,
know
he doesn't.
that.
He's clearly not smart. He said that windmills were causing whales to die in numbers never seen before. He said we should look into disinfectant by injection to fight COVID-19. He said we should look into using nuclear weapons to fight hurricanes. Okay? He said if Jesus were the vote counter in California, that he would have won the vote. These are just the tip of the iceberg. Okay? He said that the climate, we're going to start cooling. Or that the climate's going to start cooling. Science just doesn't know it yet. He said that Tylenol causes autism when there are studies that disprove that and say it doesn't cause autism after taking into account siblings and genetics. This guy is incoherent.
You said
Do you think his
Tylenol?
IQ is high?
Well, I can't take Tylenol, so I mean, it definitely does something.
Tylenol during pregnancy.
Well, I'm not pregnant and I'm a man. I still can't take Tylenol.
Okay, that's specifically to you. I don't know the reason why you can't take Tylenol, but that's specifically
My
to
girl
you.
can't take Tylenol. Like, it actually does affect certain people, like physically.
Yeah.
I'm not
so-
even just saying that to say it. I physically can't take Tylenol.
Wait, by the way, the
Like, and my
likelihood
girl
of
can't
both
either.
you and your girlfriend not being able to take Tylenol is actually extraordinarily low. But I just want to let you know,
Which is
Tylenol is one of
crazy,
the
right?
Tylenol is one of the only safe
Yeah, I'm
things that you can
allergic,
use. Are both of you allergic?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously, if you're allergic, you can't take it. But Tylenol is one of the only safe.
Why would I
things-
be lying, bro?
I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just saying it's incredibly unlikely for both of you to be allergic. But I'm just that
Nah,
it's not.
physically, I'm.
It's not impossible. But the point that I'm making is that Tylenol usage during pregnancy is one of the only safe things you can do to treat a fever during pregnancy.
Yeah.
So you understand that that's like
I can understand that though. But I mean, as if you be honest, like certain medications like this wasn't even thought about years ago. So I mean, these are still chemicals you're putting in your body, which you don't know. I mean, how long has Tylenol
Okay, so
been out?
do you
for?
say that about all vaccines?
Yes, definitely. COVID vaccine. Nobody knows what it's going to do to your body 10 years from now.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
like,
sorry. One second here. One, we're like half a decade after taking the COVID vaccine. There's been billions of doses given. Okay, we know the effects of it. There hasn't been a single, out of all the vaccines that have been given out by the CDC, there hasn't been a single one where a side effect is manifested 6 weeks after injection. Or I think it was 6 months
That's
after
cap.
injection.
That's cap. As soon as I took, look. As soon as I took my vaccine, and in the comments y'all can say I'm lying, I got asthma due to the vaccine. Due to getting COVID.
Oh wait, but
and all
stop.
that. It gave me
I
asthma.
said 6 months after injection. So that wasn't 6 months after injection. 2, right? Did a doctor tell you that was because of the vaccine?
The vaccine I know it was because of the vaccine.
Did a doctor tell you it was because of the vaccine?
Yeah, I've been tested and all that. I've been tested. I've been tapped.
So the doctor determined. So you heard from a doctor that you got asthma from the vaccine.
Look it up in articles. Like, you can look it up. COVID and the vaccine cause asthma.
No, I'm asking you.
A lot of people that never had asthma.
Stop. Did you hear from your doctor that the reason why you now have asthma is because of the vaccine?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes. there's multiple reasons you can have asthma. Definitely if you've never had asthma as a child. You know what I'm saying? So I've never had asthma, and that was one of the reasons.
Isn't asthma based upon genetic predispositions? By the way, my sisters have asthma. Okay. Um, I I don't even know if you can get asthma specifically from the vaccine. Now, could it be exacerbated? I think that there is some. Actually, it says that there isn't really like enough evidence to establish that there even is a link between the two. By the way, that's what I'm looking at in terms of studies. Yeah, very vague stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe that's true, but like, I mean, did you? I doubt you heard that from a doctor. I really doubt it.
I'm telling you, I'm really being like factual when I say that. Like I'm not just saying it to say it. Cause you named off a lot of things, and out of everything I said, like it dead ass did. The vaccine, it was the first vaccine.
Which type of COVID vaccine did you get?
Hold up, let me look in my wallet. Matter of fact, because I have the card that they give you. I gotta find my old wallet.
Okay. Holly, thank you so much for the $2. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Can we get some W's for Holly in the comment section right now? Thank you so much for the $2 on Venmo. Oh, thank you so much, Holly. That's so kind of you. Thank you. Mo, again, thank you so much. Really appreciate the dollar. Thank you. Maybe we will. That's funny. Christopher, thank you again. I really appreciate the $3. Thank you. I get you. I get you. I definitely might sometime.
I don't know exactly which one it was, but the first when the first vaccination came out, that's the one that I took. It's in my old wallet. My vaccination card, my old one was.
Was it Pfizer?
Was that the first one out? I don't know exactly which one it was because I don't have the card sitting in front of me.
I'd have to check. Zach, thank you so much for the $10. Soul, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $2. Thank you. Noel, thank you for the $2 as well. Queen, thank you so much for the $10. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Hope you've had a good day so far. Ash, thank you for the $2. Thank you. Corey, thank you for the $5. Chris, thank you so much for the 5 as well. You just got a misinformation flag, by the way. Surprising, honestly. B, thank you for the $5 as well. Let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Jeez, the mucus is so bad, chat. This, I feel like I've been sick for so long. Alrighty, let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Thankfully, I restarted everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Play Farms in Parker?
Diabolical? Diabolical? Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey, I'm 21. I was on here with you a minute ago. Can I say something real quick?
You don't support Trump, do you?
Listen, no, listen, I do.
Okay, well, I don't believe you because you came up with my live and you were just trying to say something. Hey, by the way, everyone, don't just try to use my live to say things. I think it's kind of rude to do that. You don't meet the criteria, so please don't do that. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey, I'm 23, and I'm
Do you
pro
support
Trump. Yes.
And what's your birth year?
2002.
Okay, and if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump, 100%.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
His policy.
Such as?
The biggest one would probably be that, honestly, he makes me horny. Horny! Trump makes me horny! Horny!
I don't understand what the point is of doing that. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria. Listen to the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Let's go go to the next individual. Only do send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria. List in the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
21.
Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
What's your birth year?
8/17/04.
And what month?
My social too.
What month was it?
August.
Okay, and if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who'd you rather vote for?
Trump, for sure.
Okay. Why do you support Trump?
Well, that's the thing. I don't support him anymore, really. I mean, if you would stop.
So you wouldn't vote for him if you could right now?
If I could vote for Donald Trump right now, I would, yeah.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
Over
then?
Kamala. Because Kamala is a hypocrite. She's a liar. She's honestly a reptilian. She's evil. Just like the Democratic Party. It's that simple.
You're trolling.
I'm not trolling.
You do not.
And do you know what? Hey, do you know what? Hey, listen. Do you know what's even funnier? No.
Stop.
No, because I could expose you right now.
You think that Kamala Harris is a reptilian? Like other Democrats? So do you think I'm a reptilian? Unmute yourself. Do you think I'm a reptilian? You gotta click the microphone on the bottom right.
Yo.
Yeah, you do? You think I'm a reptilian?
No, I don't. I could expose. It's simple. Do you know what the Bohemian Grove is? Illuminati. Okay. Do you understand that more than half of the Democratic Party and Republican Party has, like, president-wise, has been a part of that? And do you know what they did in the Bohemian Grove, correct?
What's your source?
What's the source? There's evidence.
And that evidence is?
Witnesses? People talking about it? The president?
Wait, so to clarify, you accept witnesses, correct?
That's like saying the Epstein files aren't a fucking thing. It's obviously a thing, correct? Epstein is evil.
Stop.
Exactly. Okay.
How about this?
But you want to say,
hey, respond to what I have to say, or I'm going to kick you. Okay?
Yeah, because I'm gonna expose you. It's that simple.
No, because you're not responding to what I have to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Answer my question. Did you hear what I said? Do you accept witnesses?
Do I accept witnesses?
Yes.
I mean, if there's more than a certain amount of witnesses that are saying the same exact thing.
How many?
Depends. What do you mean? That's like saying.
How many witnesses do you need in order to say that this happened? All saying the same thing.
If I could have one witness that is saying something that's equivalent to the proof from now, because I never went into too much depth with this, but all I'm trying to say is
I'm going to ask you one more time. How many witnesses do you need?
Millions. There's millions of witnesses.
Millions. You need millions of witnesses?
There's facts. There's proof.
There were not millions of witnesses that saw 50% of Democrats at Bohemian Grove. What the hell are you talking about? I'm asking you, how many witnesses do you require?
I don't know. Okay, I'll just say I don't know. I'm not sure how many witnesses.
How about over 20?
Okay, no, let me say something to you, though.
No. Would you be okay with over 20? Unmute yourself. Tell me, would you be okay with over 20?
By the way, I'm not muting myself. It's your mods muting me, so.
I muted you myself.
Okay. Well. What do you mean 20? What are you trying to say?
Is 20 witnesses enough?
20 witnesses enough? It depends. I mean, I don't know where you're trying to get at with it, but maybe I don't know. Yes or no?
If you respond to what I have to say. Wait, I'm not answering your questions directly.
Sure, 20 witnesses. You
know what?
I'll say it, 20 witnesses.
Okay,
there you go.
Okay, so then you do accept the 26 different people that have accused Donald Trump of sexual misconduct as they've witnessed it happening to themselves. They're all saying the same thing. You accept that, right? You accept that did happen.
Yes. Let me say this to you.
And yet you still support Donald Trump?
No, I don't. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
Okay. Let's go to the next individual. Only sending guest requests if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Such a waste of time, dude. Saying Kamala Harris is a reptilian is fucking nuts, by the way. Fucking nuts, dude. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
19.
Do you support Trump?
Absolutely.
And what's your birth year?
Excuse me?
What's your birth year?
12.
I said, what's your birth year?
I told you.
12?
Yeah.
He was born in the year 12, everyone. He's almost 2,000, or he's actually over 2,000 years old. He was born over 2,000 years ago. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey, Parker,
We just met the
hope you
oldest
get
person
better
ever.
soon.
We just met the oldest person in the world. He's over 2,000 years old. That's crazy. Bro could have met Jesus. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
28.
Do you support Trump?
Yes.
And if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay. And what was your birth year again?
11/11/97.
And okay, so why do you support Trump?
Because you know the felony case you always preach about, it's an appeals court, and once it's done, he's not gonna be a felon anymore. And the Stormy Daniels, that defamation case, it was dismissed.
Stormy Daniels wasn't a defamation case. I don't know what you're talking about. No, it wasn't.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it
Yes,
wasn't.
it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. Check it. Check.
I did. Stormy Daniels is who he had sex with. Wait, stop. Stormy Daniels is who he cheated on his wife with while she was pregnant, okay? And who he paid hush money to, okay? We're talking about E. Jean Carroll. That was defamation. And that has been appealed, and Trump lost the appeal, and the judge said that Donald Trump, in fact, raped E. Jean Carroll.
Did Stormy Daniels pay Trump $600,000?
Say that again?
Did Stormy Daniels pay Trump $600,000?
Did Stormy Daniels pay Trump $600,000? No, I don't think so.
Yes, she did. Like, you don't know, Parker?
When did Stormy pay Trump 600 grand?
Check online. You sit here all day. Check it.
I have.
No, you didn't. That's why you... Oh, I have. No, you didn't.
Okay, I just got a second flag for misinformation, so I have to take another restart on my TikTok live. Do you want to be the first guest to come back?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I have to hit another restart here on TikTok because that's a second fucking misinformation flag that I've got for today. So make sure to follow me here on TikTok. I'll be right back here on TikTok. If you don't want to deal with all these bans, I recommend to go over to YouTube. Go over to YouTube real quick, everyone. Over to YouTube. Join the 3,600 people over here on YouTube. I would really appreciate that. I'll be right back here on TikTok. Give me one.